see what's going on. I think we're live already. I think I accidentally hit a button.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See, it's backwards.
Yeah. I see lots of fingers.
I can get this thing back together. I don't know how good it is.
Did you order another one? Hey, y'all.
Can you see the Porch Settin sign?
Just barely.
Barely?
Yeah, go up a little bit. Hey, yeah. There we go. You're good, buddy. Okay. Do I got? Do I got us? Hey, guys. Great day out here. Cloudy, cloudy, cloudy. Storm coming up from the south. We don't know how long we'll be able to stay out here, but hopefully we can make it through, but we'll see. In you got your Chewy. Yeah, we never know what to expect out here, but like I said, we've had.
I don't see the sign at all.
You know, not got it on live.
Yeah, right there, and I don't see the sign.
What was on there a few minutes ago? Yeah.
Down here in the bushes.
Get rid of my plant. Yeah, I know. Okay. A little bit early, guys, but like I said, we don't know what we're going to run into with the storm coming through, so don't know if it'll even get here or not. It's down around the Tampa area right now. Hey, Donna, Jason and Leah, Arlene Ponte. I said I thought you were on vacation. Not yet. We're going, but we ain't left yet. So let's see. Patrick says hello, Skip&Sue, all the way from Canada. Well, Patrick, what are you doing in Canada? I didn't think he was up that far. Lisa B says 82 here, and let's see. And Lisa B says hi from Ohio. Okay, are we caught up? Rich A, 82 and sunny in Warminster, Pennsylvania. Brad Chase is warming up here in Staten Island. 78 and sunny, near 90 tomorrow. Wow, Brad, that's pretty good.
Get up there.
Sit down. I know you're going to want to go with him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the normal weather is this time of year for Staten Island, but I've been watching the weather kind of because where we're going. We're going to North Dakota, and they're not known for their warmth. But in the summertime, they have decent weather in the summertime. So I've been keeping an eye on it. But it's like some of y'all. It's just it's 50 one day and 80 the next. And my son said last week, that he was worried about his tomatoes because it got so cold. And then I said this week they're in the 80s. So who knows? And Leon says hello from Pittsburgh. 83 degrees and overcast. Must be the Canadian fires. That could be. I've been keeping an eye on it because where the kids live is like 5 miles from the Canadian border. So I don't know where the wildfires are at, but I think it's in a different area of Canada than what they're bordering. So if I'm not, I haven't actually sit down and looked at the weather map, but I think so. We'll see. Jerry says I see Skip wearing his favorite YouTuber's T-shirt. That's those are from a long time ago. I mean, we were gold wingers before we were villagers, and we traveled the country on our gold wing. And I said we love it too. They said, Gold Wing has nothing on us. We we travel a lot on our Goldwing. So, Leon says hello from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 83 and overcast. Oh, I read it, didn't I? Gerald Collier says hi there. How are you, Gerald? It's like I said, it's one of those days where it's very cloudy, overcast, and we don't have too many of them like that. And I said, it's time now for the daily rains to start, our rainy season. It's time to start after June 1st. But what the kind of rain we're getting is kind of to make up for what we haven't got, I think, because it's just kind of dumping rain the last few that we've had. And normally the rains isn't like that. Our normal rainy season is, 10 minutes of rain and then it's done and everybody glad everything cooled off. So this has been really hard rain, which we needed it. Yeah, everybody needed it. And I told somebody at the store, I was out shopping yesterday, and I had to avoid the rain everywhere I went. And I told the guy at the store, that if somebody else told me that we needed the rain, I'd have to shoot him in the foot, because I thought, I don't need any more today. BJ says, hi from the People's Republic of Madison. Hey, BJ, how you doing? And Gerald Collier says he's from Massachusetts. There you go. Mark Ryan says, hello, everyone. How is everybody? Yeah, we're, it's one of those things where, like I said, we're skirting the weather here, and I don't know how long it'll take to get up here. And it might go all the way around us, but, my radar on my phone, it's showing a pretty good-sized storm around the Tampa area. So if it does get here, it's, it's going to pour down. So might be that we may not finish the rest of this, but because of the weather, but you'll know. Yeah. Mark Ryan says, hello, everyone. And yeah, but these guys too be dying to get to your cookies. Karen Jacks just made us brought us some cookies, or Kevin brought to us. And I, I love her to pieces, because Skip was complaining last time that she brought.
I wasn't complaining.
Well, what would you call it?
Harassing.
Then she didn't make him any snickerdoodles.
Yeah.
And I said she had oatmeal and she had chocolate chip last time. So this time she has chocolate chips with nuts in them. And she made his snickerdoodles. And Kevin brought him some more beefaroni. You'd think he lived on that stuff. But yeah, we appreciate it so much. But Karen, get out of the kitchen. Go do something fun. Sherry Barnes Stebbins says hi from Linden.
Where's my phone? Somebody sent me an email about you.
Got to be in the 603.
I told him that I would quit. Somebody sent me an email about you, and I told him I would bring it up today on Porch Settin, because I never know what's going on anyway. Anyway, he said at the end of the Porch Settin, you always read this crap about stuff. He wants to know, where do you get that?
Mostly out of the paper.
What paper?
The Daily Sun.
That's what
but then, I listen to the radio, the Village's radio also. And like I said, a lot of times they have stuff on there, and word of mouth, So nothing.
Is that stuff in the newspaper every day?
There's something in there every day. But like I read it every day, and I jot down something here, something there. And I've been trying to stay away from the stuff you have to pay for. I like to look for stuff that's free, because a lot of people just running around, don't know what to do, and they're just out sightseeing, and it's nice to kind of pop in a rec center and see this or see that. And so, but the last couple of weeks, everything I've had, I think, was a pay performance. And so maybe this week too, I don't know. I have to go through my notes, but yeah, I get the biggest share of it from the Daily Sun, and I said the radio broadcast.
How'd the $5 get here on the floor?
Have no idea. It must have been in your pocket.
I had $5?
Evidently, when you took your phone out of your pocket.
Huh.
Love you, Skip.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
it. Ron 5850 says happy Porch Settin Wednesday to all. Kathy B says hi, Skip and Sue. Finally got warm here in the 603. Well, good for you. I'm glad. I said we've had some warm weather here for a while now, but
not warm, hot.
Yeah, hot. And I said just not a fan of the storms that's been coming in, but
it's the humidity mixed in with the heat that causes the problem here. It's really not the heat so much.
Yeah.
But if you've got any kind of respiratory problem, You need to come down here in the summer months during the rainy season and see if you can stand the heat.
Yeah.
What's the use of living here if you can't leave the house?
That's right. Jerry Bells has got to go to a meeting in a few minutes, so I'll see you on the other side. Okay, Jerry, take it easy.
Yeah, I think tomorrow we're going down to his new house. I want to see what kind of fiasco this is.
Okay. Mark Spann says hello from Mark and Terry Spann. It's a beautiful 73 in Burleson, Texas. Yeah. Well, I've heard you've had your share of rain there, too. And I said, I've been listening. You know, the Midwest is just getting hit hard with storms after storm after storm. And like I said, I was watching again last night in some parts of Kentucky, I think, were flooded, and Tennessee. And I think, gee, they just had, you know, a couple weeks ago, they just had a bad flood. So Catherine Jacobson says, beautiful in Minnesota now that the horrible Canada smoke is out of here. Okay.
The what?
The Canada smoke, they've got forest fires in Canada.
Again?
Yeah, that's causing a lot of smoke. And she's in Minnesota, so it might be up where we're going. And I said, in North Dakota.
Well, if it is, I'm not staying there very long. I ain't going to sit up here for a month breathing smoke.
Well, like I said, you know.
Huh?
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't think it was in that area, but maybe so. I don't know how far it's traveling either. So, Kathy B in the 603 says, hope you're enjoying your new home, Jerry. Yeah, Jerry's got his new house, and he's been down here visiting for a week or so, and going through the motions of all the stuff you have to do. You know, you have to see the air conditioning guys, and you got to see the plumbers and the people that put the cabinets in and stuff like that. It cross stuff off your list as you go. And so he's down here getting that done. And we've had dinner with him a couple times. We've had a good time. So hopefully, you know, the things he has to do at the house is not being discouraged, because when you buy something new, you always have to go through that where you have all this stuff to do, and you think, good God, can I ever get a day to myself? But you do.
See, I don't know how it is now. I was just talking to Kevin about it. He's wanting to buy a new house down there too. Apparently things has changed when it comes to warranty work. When we were here, bought this place, there was a thing that was a rule, but it set forth by the developer to the contractor that built this house and any other contractor. The rule was that if you had a warranty claim once you took possession of the house, they came in with blue tape, the contractor did, and he started marking everything, no matter what it was. And then because they subcontract everything, the contractor doesn't do much of anything. So they get a hold of the contractor, or you can call the subcontractor. In other words, the guy that painted the house, you can call him. The guy that put the tile work in, you can call him. They had 48 hours to get back to you and come over and see what the problem was. And if they didn't, and you called the warranty department and said, I called him and he hasn't showed up after 3 days, he hasn't showed up, then that contractor was off the list. He couldn't build another home here until things got taken care of. And when we called ours, we had minor problems. We had one cabinet door that was not right. And yeah, it was a door in the bathroom, right? All this wood on your cabinets is fake, cheap crap. At least in my house it was. And it's got a lot of stain on it. Well, whoever done the stain on my door, and they let the stain run, and they didn't get it off in time. Well, they tried to tell me that was the grain of the wood. And I looked at the guy and I said, I was a master cabinet builder. I know what that is. That's runny stain. I want a new door. So they put a new door on the next day. We had something about a thermostat. I couldn't figure out how to set that darn thing. And the guy came in, I think the same day, later that afternoon, and he showed us how to work the thing, got it all set up for us. And the tile in the shower, there was a little bit of a chip on a tile on the wall, and there was on the tile they put on the floor, there was a corner of one of them kind of sticking up a little bit. Not a lot, but I just knew it was just going to be enough to where going in and out of the shower, this thing could be a problem. And I wanted that fixed. And all of that was done within the first 48 hours of us owning this house. And we had to sign off on it, and everything was done. Now, I guess down there, that 48-hour rule is, I don't know if it's in place or not or how they do it, but I've been told it's been changed. So I don't know what they do now.
And by down there, you mean south of 44.
That's the problem with me answering questions. I know what it was like in my district. But if you're asking about District 15 or say, I can't really explain how everything's done there because they change rules all the time.
Okay. Catherine says the smoke was here for a week and finally is out of there. She's in Minnesota, so okay. Missy Mo says, hi folks from 84 degrees in sunny Michigan. Well, good. That's good weather up there. And let's see. A wrestler says, Buddy has Skip trained well. One bark and Buddy gets a cookie.
Wrong way to shut him up. See?
Yeah. I gave him his chewy, but he wants your cookies, so yeah.
Snickerdoodles.
Yeah.
These are really good.
No. And I never made snickerdoodles, I don't think.
Tastes like a cinnamon cookie, kind of like.
Yeah, that's
Mom used to make a thing called sugar cookies.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. I like them too. Nobody makes sugar cookies anymore. Nobody.
Yeah. Hey, Jose. BB Banks says 85 and beautiful in New York, but have an air quality alert. Wow. Is it is it because of the heat? Rester says, hasn't rained here for a few days. Will hopefully rain this weekend. Garden coming along well, though. Added red skin potatoes and purple potatoes. So far, so good. Why I like the red skin potatoes. I don't think I ever had any of the purple potatoes. I've seen them. I just don't think I've ever ate any. Do they have a different? Do they have a different taste?
I don't like genetically introduced food.
Well, just because it's purple doesn't mean it's genetically introduced food.
That is not the way it grows in the wild. Show me a picture of an African potato that grew out in the jungle somewhere that's purple.
I don't know where they come from. Like I just never ate them much, but didn't have a whole lot of them around where
it's just like sweet corn. I like sweet corn, but you know that all sweet corn is genetically introduced. All of it. Sweet corn is not a natural food. Okay, especially when you get the one that's really good in Indiana. It's the one that's got a mixture of the white corn and the yellow corn, whatever that's called. Mm-hmm. You know that's not normal. It kind of reminds me of Indian corn from years ago.
Well, it could be. And y'all, before you say anything, yeah, Skip still got his sticker on his hat. He leaves that. If you see it flapping, it flaps in the wind.
She wanted me to take it off, and just because she told me to, I'm leaving it on there.
We're having one of those days.
She'll learn one of these days who really runs things around here.
Yeah, BB Banks says you can't buy corn, you can only rent it, Skip.
That is true. Yeah. And the funny part about corn is it comes out looking the same way it did when it went in.
Oh, okay. So, did I hear that same thing going on with the honeymooners last night?
What?
The same thing going on with the honeymooners last night?
The bang zoom?
And no, I said
that could be you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. But I'm the boss thing.
I am the boss around here. Don't forget it.
Yeah. I'm still laughing. It's one of those things, yes. My goodness. Yeah, it's, like I said.
Jose mowed today?
Yes.
What's his name? It's Jose,
Jose,
right?
yeah.
Jose, yeah.
He mowed this morning.
See, he mowed theirs next door, too?
Yes.
So they're done. I wish this guy would get on board here, and that guy. So he come in here and mow this whole corner, done for the week. No more noise.
Yeah. And I think they
just so you guys know, I'm working on a video right now that I'm going to upload on my RV channel before I go. I don't know a lot on there because here lately, the only thing I've been putting on there is maintenance. Going over there, getting the camper ready, replacing this, checking that, blah, blah, blah. So I went over there yesterday, and I was over there like, I don't even know, most of the day. It doesn't really take me all day to do something, but I have to work for a while, and then I go inside and watch TV for a while. And then I work for a while, and then I go inside and lay down and take a nap for a while. And then I eat over there because that dry food stuff, I eat that while I'm over there. And so anyway, I'm over there, and there might be something said on the video. And I'm walking around the RV looking at things, and guess what? They're mowing the grass over there. It was like 3 of them mowers. One of them, I'm not sure even had a muffler on the thing. And I got pissed off, and I says, God, why can't I do video somewhere without a goddamn mower in the background? So I have to voice over. I cut it out, and I voiced over it.
Yeah. And I said, these guys across the street hadn't been here yet, but probably before the day's out.
Well, he's weird. Sometimes he'll mow every week. Other times he'll skip a week. So you never know when he's going to show up. Actually, the guy to me looks like an ex-con. That's what I think he is. He just looks like it.
All right. Okay, Wrestler says carrots were originally red. They were not genetically modified to get orange, just crossed with different varieties to get orange. Same with the purple potatoes.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well,
spoken like a true vegetarian.
Hey, Wrestler does his homework, so you could probably believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just makes stuff up because he's scared of his wife.
Oh, Joy Hudo says, "Hi, Skip and Sue. Great to see you guys. Good to see you too, Joy." We're
Is that Joy Hudo?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen her down here, have we? She's living here full time now, right?
I think so. Yeah.
But she hasn't been to our Patreon unless there's anything for a while.
Yes, she was.
She was?
Yeah.
How come I didn't notice her?
Well, like I said, probably because she's little and you're big. She probably just right out of your radar.
Huh.
She was at.
It's hard for me to remember names too.
Yeah, I think she was at Victory.
I don't know.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, if you ever come to any of our Patreon stuff we do, or our Discord stuff, they're two different things. If I don't come over and say hi and use your name, don't yell at me because I have a hard time remembering names. That's why, and it's a big joke, all the women are Karen, all the men are Frank. I can remember that.
Yeah. Brad Shea says, "This is my house. My house. You're nothing but a peasant."
That's right.
I'm the king.
That's right.
King.
And I'm the captain. You ain't nothing but a low-life seaman.
I hope they like those jokes on the moon, Alice, because that's where you're going.
That's right. Bang, zoom. You will be orbiting the moon soon.
Yeah. The honeymooners I seen was he told somebody in the paper that it was he was the boss. Said it's his house and he was the boss. And then somebody asked him if they could come to dinner the next night. They said, "We'll see if your wife likes that last minute stuff." Well, him and Norton tried to make dinner themselves before Alice knew anything about it. So, and it didn't work out real well. So, anyhow, like I said, I love watching those old reruns. They're, the honeymooners is cute, and Skip tries that stuff. He knows how dumb it is, but yeah, he tries that stuff. It doesn't work. He can say anything he wants, and I just laugh.
Buddy.
He wants you to get up and get it. I'm
not doing it anymore. Matter of fact, laying this rug down here, you can lay down there.
It's wet.
Oh.
I didn't put it in with the cushions, so it's wet. Okay, Wrestler says, "I heard somewhere that snickerdoodles are vegan." See, Skip really is vegan. He just doesn't want anyone to know. He is more than what you'd think, Wrestler, really. And Rich A. in Pennsylvania landscape.
Actually, technically, those freeze-dried things that I cook out, but technically those are vegan. I think there's no meat in there.
Yeah.
It's always the noodles and then a lot of vegetables cooked in there, and then some kind of a sauce. Don't know what it is.
That's why I said you're more vegan than what you think.
It could be a radiation in there or something. I don't even know what that sauce is.
You just like it. He says, "I heard somewhere." Yeah. Okay. Rich A. says, "In Pennsylvania's landscapers mow lawns 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 7:30. So you always hear commercial mowers. I mow my own lawn, a third acre, with a walk-behind power drive mower." Yeah, that's the problem here. Since everybody has a different guy, they pick their own days. It's what day that they mow, and our guys come at 8:30 in the morning. So by the time he gets up, everything's done. But
my thing is, I tell people this new coming down here, if you can do it, because everybody's got their own head, and you know where most of their heads are, that if you got 4 or 5 neighbors around you, like I do, we're kind of close to a corner. That's a corner lot, that's a corner lot, and then there's us two over here, and then, of course, over here. If you can get everybody around you on board, and all of you hire the same lawn guy, he's going to show up 1 day a week at the most. During the winter months, they show up like once every 2 weeks. He's going to mow all your yards, and he's going to load it up and be gone. You're done for 7 days. You don't have to worry about noise around your house anymore. And but everybody, for some reason, they're just bullheaded. Well, I don't like the way he mows grass. It's grass, for God's sake.
Well, I said, you have to pay him. It's your money. You decide what you want. So.
Oh, people are they got nothing. They're retired now. They got nothing to do except complain.
Oh, you know that, do you?
Who's that?
Don't know. Cruising the back roads with Pop and Mimi. Where do you keep your RV? We are researching the villages, but have a fifth wheel we plan on keeping.
Over at the storage lot. Matter of fact, they got a sale going on over there right now. But here's the deal. And I recommended a bunch of people. And the thing is, what are you doing over here? I'm not buying a house, and I'm not selling a house.
No. Hey, Ira. Quick. No.
Just let him go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I suppose I'm going to have to get another chair out here.
You don't got to get another chair. Don't even bother.
I'm getting up.
Use the one on the bottom because that one's probably wet for that rug.
I want to get him a really uncomfortable chair so he doesn't stay there.
That's all we got left is uncomfortable chairs.
Oh,
Good. How about you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
You too. And y'all, look who we got for visitor. We got Ira. Yeah.
I figured you needed some company over here.
Betty. Yeah.
So,
Step down. Let me move this here so
Okay.
I get everybody in it.
Yeah, our RV is in, what's the name of that place?
hopefully it doesn't rain on your little...
That's what we thought, we weren't sure because the storm looks like it's pretty serious wherever, it's down south of us right now.
Yeah.
But
Can you see everything?
hang on, I must not be on live, but
I guess about where I have to have it.
I think maybe that's it.
Let it get out of the way.
Okay.
You like my high dollar setup?
This is it, man. This is the way to do it.
And if it works, it
Simple.
works,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. They
Okay.
can hear us both?
Yeah, because I talk a lot louder than you do.
Gotcha.
So as long as I can hear you.
Yeah, you're
I
better
got
with.
nothing good to say, but you got all the knowledge.
I don't know about all that,
I'm
but...
an idiot. Well, my point is they ask questions all the time about the villages, but you know how they change the rules. So I can't answer everything about District 17.
Well, I try to keep up with it, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. Well, you do pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, most everybody on here knows you. But what's the name of that storage lot?
I'm not telling them for a simple reason.
Oh, okay.
Because they're not doing what I ask them to do. Everybody asks you this stuff, and then when you tell them about this stuff, they go over there, and I find out later that the lady over tells me, she said, well, they didn't do what you told them to do. And unless they do exactly what I tell them to do, I don't get that $50.
Oh, okay. It's about money.
So I'm not telling them.
Laura
You
left
gotta
us just
call him.
Ira.
No.
Manhood.
Well, I'm not going to say, but what they got to do when they go over there, when they sign the paper for the lot, that you're going to rent it, and you got to give them your name and all that, credit card numbers and stuff like that. At that time, only at that time, you have to tell them I sent you, because then they put on my account $50, and then next month on my rent they'll deduct that $50.
Yeah.
That's what I do it for. It's not a lot of money, but it helps out.
Absolutely.
Here's what
Okay.
happens: people calls over there. Oh, hey, I was watching Skip on it, and he told me to tell you. That's not it. You have to go there and tell them.
Well, that's them being pretty picky, as far as I'm
That's
concerned.
them. I don't make the rules up for that place over
Oh,
there.
okay.
That's what their rules are, and that's what the rules are. Nobody's following it, so I'm not telling you.
Okay. Somebody said the camera needs more headroom, but looks good to me.
I'd go watch something else.
Okay.
I'm going to tell it's like that. I don't know. It's just in nature. People just don't think about it at the time, I guess, because I had some people come visit me yesterday, and we did a tour of Crestwind over.
That is.
That's a new area they're building over there on Raceway Road.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
On what road?
On Raceway?
Somebody else mentioned that yesterday, too, about some area that's causing a traffic problem or something.
Well, that's where they put the new roundabout in.
Right. It's on
Is that new?
Rolling Acres
That's the
Road.
one
Yeah, Rolling
buttoned
Acres,
up
yeah.
against Caroline on the backside. Goes all the way over
Yeah.
to Cherry.
Betty.
Goes all the way over to Cherry Road.
Yes.
Betty, come here.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, just wait. That's why they're trying that roundabout trick, but they should be putting that Rolling Acres Road all the way through to 466A.
Betty, come on.
And they just won't do it.
No, Tony. I'm not going to
Okay.
do this.
Uh-oh. Bye, buddy.
Okay.
He's gone.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's.
But yeah, they'll go over there and they'll.
Well, I know that they had it open a week or two ago for people to look at. They were ready to rent.
Well,
Yeah.
we did a whole thing, a whole Monday Night Live, showed all the models, and Kristen was our tour guide, who was my sales rep over and On Top of the World. So she asked me if I would come over, do videos. I'm like, yeah, okay. So we came over, did a live show over there, and I said, okay, now, if anybody's watching this video and really thinks that Crestwind might be for them, please go over and ask for Kristen prior. They don't do it.
Oh well.
So it's like, all you can do is ask.
Yeah, well, and
Something else. Let me rant just a little bit. Most of the people that I find on here that ask for a favor, ask if you'll mail them something for free, like a newspaper. We used to do all that.
The ID maps. Yeah.
For free. I find out that 90% of them that ask these favors aren't even subscribed. I go through the list and I check. You can type their name in and see if it comes up. And it doesn't even come up. So I said, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just done with this. They go subscribe to newcomers. They go subscribe to Rusty. They go subscribe to all these other people. Have more subscribers than me. They do nothing. And they won't even subscribe to my channel.
I didn't know you could look up subscribers.
There's a way. I'll just put it to you that way.
Okay.
I don't know about today, but then there was. Because YouTube was updated, I don't even know how many times. And every time they update, shit happens. This doesn't work right. Or people tell me they got unsubscribed, which I've heard that happen quite a bit. So we always tell people, double check, make sure you're subscribed. They say, well, I am. Double check.
Yeah.
Because you may not be.
Right.
And you can always find out when they go, I wasn't even notified you went live. The odds are they're not subscribed. Somehow they got bumped off.
Right. Yeah. Wrestler says, Sue, just so you know, Ira has an agreement with Skip that anyone who buys a home from Ira, Skip will cook them a meal for free.
No, I got an agreement with Ira that anybody who uses my channel to go to Ira, he gives me a kickback of.
Don't say that. The MLS will kill me.
And IM Realty will then pay to have their stomach pumped afterwards.
That's a wrestler. He'll come on there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you buy a home from Ira, Skip will cook him a meal. I'm like,
no, I'm not cooking.
Well, and actually, he's a pretty good cook. He just don't do it.
Yeah. That's like me, Every now and, my wife keeps saying, you need to cook more. You need to cook more. Everybody likes your cooking better than mine. Anyway? We're not going to get in. Why you ask that question?
Because we were just talking about it. In my house, I'm the boss and she knows it.
And she's laughing.
Yeah, because he knows better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, he can say anything, but everybody that watches us knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but.
You ever wonder when you're doing stuff where you're joking around, carrying on, and people don't have a sense of humor, and there's a lot of them out there that don't? It's how many of them watch your channel and go, I don't like that guy. Man, he's just nasty.
They just, they're like,
no sense of humor.
For real?
Yeah. Oh, and then BJ, we can't really monkey with it because that top part is broken until we get a new one, and so we can't move it around too much.
Yeah, quit your whining.
Yeah, she said tip the camera up and zoom in. Well, we can't do that right now.
If it's bothering you, there's an off button on your phone. Just hit that.
Wow.
DJ come beat you up. Yeah, she'll come and get you. Deborah Bird says, hello, Skip and Sue. And Ira, how are you all doing today? Well, we're doing good, honey. How are you?
Who was that?
Deborah Bird.
Oh, hey, Deborah.
Haven't heard from her in a while.
Her house?
Doing great.
We were just talking about that a while ago. Somebody was here.
Kevin was here. Oh, sorry.
God. Anyway, and I was told something there's on the neighborhood now. There's something like 650 houses for sale here on the market.
No, there is. Well, yesterday I checked. There were 644 on the MLS, which is where you'll find Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. You'll find all the homes that are listed by the MLS on those websites. Probably double that.
So there's over 1,200 homes here for sale, pre-owned?
Pre-owned.
Well, see, that's why they're not selling. That gives the buying power to people to sit in there buying.
Right.
They can put in a bid on 17 homes in one day.
It's a buyer's market,
and see which one comes in the best.
And then you have to factor in all the new homes that the villages, they build about 200-300 homes a month.
Yeah.
And you have to factor all that. So there's about 1,500 homes.
So right now, it's a buyer's market.
Yep.
Yeah.
How come you ain't buying?
Very much so.
Buy them, hang on to them, rent them out. You can Airbnb them just like anybody else can.
Yeah.
And then wait a year or two when things change, and then turn around and sell them, reap off your profit, turn your real estate company over to your daughter, and walk away.
Yeah.
I got it all figured out.
Yeah, you
got
got
it
it
all
all
figured out,
figured
yeah.
out. I tried that back in the day, back in 04, no, 05, 07, when the market started going down. Got into an investment pool with some people. We bought, well, it started out as 3 of us, and we bought 4 homes. And then somebody else jumped in, so there were 4 of us. We ended up with 6 homes. 3 were short-term and 3 were long-term. Well, thinking what you just said, in a couple of years, we'll rent them out a couple of years, make this big windfall. Little did we know that it went 08, 09, 010, 011, 012.
Yeah.
And then it started bottoming out in 12, and it's like, wow. We ended up selling, I think we bought in 08. I think we sold in like 11, which was still, and we still were able to make a smidgen after all that.
You're probably just glad to get out of it at that time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
A friend of mine has a philosophy. Was big in the stock market and did very well. And he also bought land, but he didn't buy homes. He bought farms. And then he would lot off the 5 acres around the farm, or the house, and he got rid of that.
Yeah.
Property taxes in. Because in Indiana, property taxes on farm ground was something like $25 a year per 100 acres or something.
Agricultural, yeah.
Some cheap.
Ag exempt, they called. Yeah.
And I'd had stock where, during the housing thing, where it was just going to hell in a handbasket. And I asked Jim, I said, Jim, I'm losing all kinds of money. He said, have you sold yet? I said, no. He said, then you ain't lost nothing.
That's right.
You don't lose anything to yourself.
Exactly.
I said, I'm thinking about selling it. He said, why would you? You've already lost all your money.
Right.
You just hang on to it and see what happens. He was right, because 2 or 3 years later, it all started coming back.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh, well, Barbara Hampton. Yeah. Barbara Abner says, handsome as always, Ira.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's when you buy. You don't sell when it's down in the dumps. Everybody's. Oh yeah, if you're already out, you got to either be in for the long haul or.
That's what I did.
Get out.
I'll tell you where I was losing my ass, and I did lose my ass on it, and I never did recapture it. I finally, after years of hanging on to this, I just couldn't stand it anymore. I just got rid of it. Back when AOL started, I bought stock in that.
I bought stock in AOL and Qualcomm, and I'm not good at.
Yeah, well, I bought and sold AOL twice. I bought like $20,000 worth the first time. It doubled. I sold it and had 40. And then I bought back in again, because it was going like this on the stock market all the time.
Right.
So you never know where the bottom is, but if I was close to the bottom, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I bought in again, and then I ended up selling it and made like $5,000, like 45,000. I sold it. And then Ted Turner talked about buying it, and I thought, I'm getting in there, because Ted Turner's like a gold mine.
Right.
I just put $80,000 worth in there, all of it.
Yeah.
And then it went down. It'll come back. Down. And then I think after about 5 or 6 or 7 years, I ended up selling it and got rid of it at $18 a share. I lost my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. They acquired CompuServe somewhere along the way. I think that's when I bought in. It's like, wow, okay, now it's CompuServe and AOL. And yeah, I got caught with that spiral.
Well, if you're not doing anything, you never get caught. That's the way it goes. If people say I've never lost, my mind says when they've never done anything.
Right, exactly.
Because everybody loses. I've owned several businesses, and I think I've lost money almost every one of them except the trucking company. And the only reason why I sold that was because of Ronald Reagan and his new laws.
We never lost on housing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I hated that because I always liked Reagan as president. I still do, even though he's the guy that caused me to lose the trucking company. And I'm just a little guy. He caused, at that time, Yellow Freight Trucking Company, the largest in the world, to file bankruptcy. He got Roadway, which is the second largest LTL company in the world. He caused them to go bankruptcy the same year.
Wow.
FedEx came that close to going bankrupt, but they ended up closing a lot of terminals because of what he did. And it just went on and on. I'm just this little guy. I just said, I don't know what's going on. I don't have the brains. I don't have 15,000 people working for me. I just told the drivers, come in. I've got every one of you a good job somewhere else if you want to take it. But park the trucks. I'm taking them to an auction sale. That's it. We're done.
Out of here.
We're out of here. With the intent of always thinking when things straighten out, I'll buy another small company. But then by that time, I'm thinking about how old I am. I got no pension.
You moved to the villages.
Well, this place has been on our target for.
Yeah, and then I said when the housing thing went this way, so did our stock. When it got back up to where he had more in it when he started, that's when he said, "This is where I'm putting my money."
Yeah, I told us it was a Starbucks. So I'd go over my 401k because I'm not the kind of guy where I just can't watch. They tell you this: don't look at your stock. Just don't look at it.
Right.
I have to look at it. And during the housing problem back when Obama was in office, I don't remember what years that was, 2007, 8, whatever. And we got our money back, and it was 10% above to where it was at before it went down. And I told Sue at Starbucks, I said, I'm going to pull all my money out of my 401k. Or most of it. I don't trust it anymore. And I'm going to invest somewhere where it's safer. And she goes, where are you going to put it? Well, during all that housing debacle, I was watching the houses here. And the houses here really didn't suffer hardly at all. They leveled off.
Yeah.
But they didn't really go down or up. They just kind of leveled off. So we bought our first patio villa. And within, 2 or 3 years, it was already up 50 grand in 2 or 3 years. So I always felt like I got my money back because of that. But keep in mind, I always want to be a snowbird. I never want to be here full time.
Yeah, I've heard that so many times before.
I bet,
I know it's funny how you change your mind.
Yeah.
After you're here for a while, you go, I don't know, man. I kind of like the weather. People here don't bother nobody. It's peaceful. It's safe. I go back to Indiana.
Well, they also think that it's so hot down here in the summertime. It's
hot up there too.
Exactly. That's what I tell
we don't have
everybody.
the humidity quite.
I hear. I listen.
Army Hampton wants to know. He said, "Hi everyone, love your channel. What did Skip do in his pre-retirement? I bet my life he was some kind of LE, and I don't know what that means." So,
I don't know either what that means.
Law enforcement.
Well, that could be.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a cop. Sue wouldn't let me.
I wouldn't let him. Yeah.
When we were younger, she was pregnant, and she freaked out that I could get shot and killed and all this and that.
Yeah, because the family business was prison guards, and
So I just didn't do it. So, but I always felt like since I was 16, that's what I was destined to be.
Really? Yeah.
Was a cop.
I could kind of see that.
Yeah. So I'm never have been.
You have that no nonsense demeanor. That's what it is.
Well, to me, it's not no nonsense. To me, it's you haven't got any common sense. Common sense. Whatever happened to plain old common sense?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a smart ass, but I'm serious. I hear people arguing about stuff, and I listen to them going, that guy's an idiot.
Deborah, we took Buddy in. Skip took Buddy in because he gets really crazy when we have company, and he makes too much noise.
Yeah,
so.
That's what I mean when I say Buddy likes everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean everybody. He'll love you to death.
Yeah.
You could have left him out here.
You say that.
I just left the house where the guy had a little. He was a mix, like a mini golden doodle mix, 5.5 months old. Man, that little dog was bouncing around. He was so cute.
Yeah.
But dogs love me.
Buddy barks. He won't stop barking.
Oh, well.
With this microphone, I've watched these things with Buddy's out here whining and carrying on.
And then the audio goes like this.
And Laura says 2 days left until retirement.
I thought she was already retired.
No, they had the retirement dinner, but she hadn't retired. She's got 2 more days.
2 days.
2 days.
And then is her house up for sale now?
I don't know. She said just 2 days until retirement.
Sell that before she can come down.
Yeah, she got to sell the condo before she comes down. But
when she comes down, she's got a place to rent, or has her eye on a place to rent, and then she's going to start looking, which means she's going to be calling you, which means you're going to be a taxi cab driver.
Okay,
well,
she says.
That's what I am, a glorified taxi driver anyway.
She said 2 days, and then on vacation till late June, then list my condo in late July.
Say that again?
She's 2 more days to retire, then she's on vacation till late June, then list my condo in late July.
Late July.
Yeah, and she said it'd probably be August or September. So.
Where does she live?
Outside of Chicago, Schaumburg.
Okay.
You know Schaumburg? Oh, Schaumburg is a town of its own. It's incorporated. They used to have a lot of automotive factories there. They built things for like General Motors. They were like supply chain of General doors, headlights, taillights, that kind of stuff. I don't know if they still have them or not, because I've been up there many times. But the thing that I remember about Schaumburg was we support the Brookfield Zoo. They have 2 zoos in Chicago, the Brookfield Zoo, and then they got the city zoo called Lincoln Park Zoo. The Lincoln Park Zoo is there for money. They want to make money with the door ticket to go in, and Brookfield Zoo is a breeding program zoo. There's several of them around our country where they take rare animals or almost extinct animals, and they breed them, and then they take those animals and exchange them with other zoos to keep the DNA pure.
Oh, cool.
That kind of stuff. And I mean, they got a mountain gorilla exhibit up there that's just phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal.
Yeah. It's an indoor jungle.
It is.
Wow.
There's trees 100 feet tall.
Really?
And you'll go in there and there'll be a mother gorilla at the top of this tree nursing a baby that she just had. I mean, it's just
they've got a walkway through there where you can walk, and you're actually in the jungle with these animals on the tree.
Over your head, and
yeah,
you have
very nice.
Says, watch for bird poop.
And we haven't been there in a long time, but yeah, we've took the grandkids, and we took our kids, and they take their kids, and they've always really liked it.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And my son asked me, one of the animals I think died here not too long ago, and he said, "Did you know that so and so died?" And I said, "I didn't know it had a name." I said, "It was just another gorilla to me," but he knew. Yeah.
It's almost like a sanctuary. So, and now they got an experimental thing going on, and I don't know how this works either, other than maybe a ring collar or something. They have a certain monkey, a reef monkey or something, that they always had an enclosure for them. Now they're free. They just go from one tree to another inside the park. They just go where they and I guess a lot of the problem is they put signs up if you're eating.
They'll come swooping down
and steal your food, which I think's funny.
Yeah,
but that's what they do. They just do stuff like that there. Now I know one time we was up there, had a hotel room. We went to the zoo.
It's
they
in
had
your
an
room.
all-points bulletin where they were running around looking for an escape. If I remember right, kangaroo.
Something like that. I don't remember exactly.
Really?
Yeah, just left the park and went out in the street.
Because it's kind of downtown. I mean, it's not.
And they got it back. But a lot of the birds they have in there that are in the park, they're free to just fly anywhere they want to go.
Yeah.
That sounds like Silver Springs.
Yeah.
Silver Springs.
It's a lot like that, yeah.
You been there? On the glass bottom boat.
Yeah.
And you go down Silver River, and you got all these monkeys free up in the trees. They've escaped.
Yeah. Cool.
And so you have all these monkeys now you'll see, and birds. And
Is that still open for...
It's a state park now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a state park now. It was private.
Is the monkey still there?
There's all kind of monkeys there, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I just remember reading something about monkeys, and wanting to capture monkeys or something, or test them for diseases. I don't know. I read something somewhere about the monkeys.
Yeah, and we saw a baboon run across Baseline Road one time. Because my wife and I was like, at night, I'm like, look at that monkey. I mean, he was this big. He was huge.
Yeah. Male baboon could be pretty
big
and violent.
He was getting it. Yeah.
Barbara Abner says, "Laura, I feel like everyone on this channel is so very happy for you." We are. I said, we've kind of followed her along from the first when she decided that she wanted to be down here. First, she was just visiting, and then she decided she wanted to be here. And so I said, we followed along with her, and we're cheering you on. We want you to be here.
I think we've all met Laura, right? You met Laura?
What's her last name?
Lampy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think we've all met Laura. She's been coming down for a while. We had dinner with her. Yeah, you went with dinner with her over at
Eaton's Beach.
Yep.
Eaton's Beach.
Yeah.
You like Eaton's Beach?
I do.
Do you?
I'm trying to get Jace over there to play.
Oh, really? That'd be cool.
Yeah, if he would
Yeah.
go down, because they have the sandbar and grill downstairs, and then they have the Eaton's Beach
Will the
restaurant.
villages allow him to do that?
What?
He's got a contract with the villages. And sometimes there's a no-compete clause in there.
I didn't think of that.
You know how these developers are. They take care of their own person pocketbooks first. They don't care
Yeah.
about nobody else.
Yeah, they're big on that non-compete, too.
Yeah. So he may not.
I don't know, man. I'll have to ask him.
Wrestler says Ira is so beautiful. Notice he has to cover his sexy legs so not to overshadow Skip&Sue's bare legs.
I'm working. I can't look like this at work.
I don't look like this.
And R.V. Hampton says the Ellie is short for law enforcement.
Yeah.
And yeah, he never was, but he wanted to. And I, he passed to go. I said all my family were prison guards. And I said, and he got a chance to go in and do that. And I said, no.
He's an Ellie wannabe.
Yeah.
Because he'll wear his little ice hat up here.
Yeah.
And now
Actually, I support all first responders because, they do a lot that people complain about. And I always have the same question about this. This is where I get no tolerance from people with no common sense. Do away with law enforcement. We don't, and you hear it on TV now. Do away with them. I'm looking at going, well, who are you going to call when they come over to your house and beat the shit out of you and want to rob all your stuff? Who are you going to call?
That's the dumbest thing I think they've ever said. Yeah.
Downright stupid. And I wouldn't care if they were here, sitting where I was at. I would jump their ass there as I would anywhere else. It was dumb.
And Barbara says, Sue, are your I do clothes ready to go? Yeah, it took me a while. I said, I'm not used to wearing dresses. Most of the dresses I have are black for funerals and did not think that'd be appropriate for a wedding. So I had to go shopping. And I really wasn't sure whether it was the kind of dresses they got out there, either too bare or too old-fashioned or I'm too picky, one or the other. But I had a heck of a time. I finally did find something, though.
I can't imagine a woman having a problem shopping.
Well, I have to put a hem in everything because I'm short. So everything has to have a hem in it because the petites, all the stores have petites nowadays, but they don't have anything that looks good. And the other section, like I said, they got tons, but you have to put a hem in them. And so some of the ones that are fancier, I'm not really that good at sewing. I did ask one of my wonderful neighbors that is in the sewing class, if she would help me with a hem if it was something I couldn't do myself. And she said she was glad to do that. But I found something I didn't have to hem, so that was a plus. So now I got to get Skip ready because he didn't want to wear his suit, and the granddaughter said he didn't have to wear his suit.
I sent her a text saying, "What's the dress code? It's her wedding. I'll do whatever she wants me to do." And she says, "There is none." She said, "Most of the guys will probably just show up in blue jeans and a T-shirt." That's what she told me.
Well, you ain't.
She says it's in a barn.
It's on the farm. I don't know if it's inside or not.
It's on the farm. So I'm not going to wear that, but I told her, I was wearing school clothes, my long beige khakis or something, a nice shirt, maybe a sweater vest. But I don't know what temperature you're going to be.
Yeah, I don't either. So, but I think it's supposed to be warm. So, but anyhow, yeah. So once I get him ready, we're good to go.
I've seen people wear some nice blue jeans. Button-down shirt and a jacket, a sport jacket. You could look pretty spiffy.
Yeah, things today is different than when we were younger. It was a funeral and a wedding. But today it's different.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Yeah.
Half the time there is no wedding. People shack up. They just pretend that they've got a family somewhere.
Sailor Dude says, I once bought a stock and it immediately crashed the same day. That happens, Said he bought a stock and it immediately crashed the same day.
Yeah, man.
But again, if you don't do anything, nothing ever happens. So if he had a problem, that just shows me he's a doer. He's not a talker, he's a doer. You don't ever have a wreck if you never drive a car.
Well, and they also say for the lottery, if you don't play, you can't win.
That is true, and I don't play. We've had 2 or 3 millionaire winners here in the villages.
Yeah.
One of them, they bought a ticket at Publix, I think, over at Pinellas. Is there Publix at Pinellas? No,
Winn-Dixie.
Yeah.
What's the Pinellas?
Winn-Dixie.
Anyway, there's a Publix store under somewhere. The other one bought a ticket at some gas station, like 7-Eleven. Station.
Yeah, it was a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, and maybe Wawa too. I've been a few.
Yeah.
I've never won anything.
The odds are so astronomical.
Years ago, what I used to play on Indiana lottery is that they had these scratch-off tickets you could buy, and if you got like three $1 things on there, then you won $1. It was very simple. And my dad's birthday, I never knew what to get Dad for his birthday because he never needed anything. He always had everything he wanted. And so we went on his birthday one year. This has been a long time ago. We bought him, I think it was $100 or $200 worth of scratch-offs because he always watched the lottery on TV.
Oh yeah, well,
so
there you
I
go.
gave him 100, 200 scratch-offs,
Yeah.
and we took them to him. He scratched them things off every day for seems to me a month or two. He'd get 10 a day or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well.
And then he put the losers in a pile over here, and the winners in a pile.
Oh
over
yeah.
here. And at the end of all of it, he ended up having like $200 worth of winners. It was like an even Steven.
Yeah.
Broke even.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's good.
Wrestler says, when's the Village of Skip Smith getting his IP? We can all invest in that.
My what?
Your IP.
What is that? What's an IP?
That's when you start a company, and it's an initial invest.
This right here is a company.
This is it.
Enough. And every time I go to do taxes, they question everything here.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he wants you to go ahead and incorporate it, and everybody can buy stock in it.
Yeah, but when we went into taxes this year, he questioned entertainment that I was writing off. But we have Patreon lines. I generally, not always, I pay for everything for everybody.
Uh-oh.
So if 20 or 30 people show up, it's not unusual to have a $500, $600, $700 bill. Well, I keep the receipts. I treat it as entertainment.
Yeah.
They question it. And not IRS, the guy doing my taxes. So what is this right here? Entertainment. So eating food is entertainment?
Hello? What do you want us to be drinking alcohol?
I don't know. I'm getting to think I need to find another tax guy.
Yeah.
I had a tax guy in Indiana that was the best. He was actually one of the auditors for the state of Indiana.
Oh, there you go. That's who you want.
Yeah, Sailor Dude says, I joined the Navy as a 17-year-old in 1981 from New York City area and went to boot camp in Orlando and said, this is my place. It doesn't take long, you know?
Yeah.
And let's see. Oh, Wrestler says, how about Skip Smith? You suck. Mem coins. Mem coins. Skip Smith, you suck. Mem coins.
Meme
So Skip, you make a fortune.
Yeah.
We have stuff we do in there to kind of help promote the channel. I'm not sure it helps promote anything, truthfully. It's just money. But it's a write-off also. We have ink pen and light sets, keychain light sets. It's got my channel name on it. We give them away.
Yeah, the lady called a while ago, matter of fact, so.
I don't care.
Okay.
We give them away all the time. We have a meet and greet somewhere, and I'll take a couple of them down and just give them to people. The truth of it is, I don't think it helps the growth of the channel at all. But we still do it, and I still will. Have I ever given you one? That ink pen sets? I got a bunch of
Nope.
them in
I got me a hat, though. It says,
you bought the hat. This is stuff we give away.
yeah, you don't give me anything. I always give you. You
Well,
don't
why
give
should I? Why don't you get it back?
Little notepads, because I love those little notepads. I use them a lot.
Oh, and that was a write-off for his company. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, we went to your original party that you had at American Legion.
Yes.
That's your real estate company.
Yes.
Which was great.
Yes.
I took the whole W&L crew gang over there.
Yeah.
And they only went for the free food. That's all that's why they went.
Well,
They all know you
that's the
are.
only reason you come to World of Beer is for free food and free
They
drinks.
ain't got no free food. Where you get free food? You get free food?
I pay for that.
At World of Beer?
Yes.
I didn't get nothing to eat.
No, we didn't eat down there.
No.
You didn't eat? You just drank?
You were drunk.
I had one beer. I thought I was going to get one beer. All of a sudden, here comes another beer. Where'd that come from?
The 2 for
Skip
1
ordered
thing.
it for you.
Yeah.
All I know is that one glass you had down there sure didn't look like beer to me. It was real dark in a wine glass.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that was.
Who knows?
Yeah, who you know.
Laura says, can I interest anyone in 8 bags of ice melter and 2 snow shovels? I'll be cleaning out my garage starting next week.
Yeah, I tell everybody I give free snow removal when you buy a house from me.
Wrestler mentioned that, yeah.
Lifetime.
Tammy's is heading to Wisconsin next week to visit our family and friends. Will be nice to be in some cooler weather. Well, you know, I don't want it to be too much cooler. I know it's going to be cooler up north, but I don't want it to be too much cooler.
Yeah, get it while you can.
Perfectly for the camper anyway, more than us. If you don't know anything about an RV is easy to heat up. It's a
metal tin can. It's just a big metal tin can.
Well, there's insulation in it, but trust me, it's not much. But it's hard to cool down if it gets hot.
Yeah. I think the storm's coming
I'm
up.
really kind of hoping that
you need to pull the chair in a little bit.
Daytime will be, say, 80 degrees
if you're getting wet, yeah.
And the nighttime temperature will be, if it's in the 50s, that'd be great. That's to open the window, get under the cover, turn the TV on, go to sleep. Yeah. That's what that is.
Yeah, but safe travel to you, Tammy.
And I'm just hoping I can get up there without no breakdowns. And come home without no breakdowns.
Yeah.
Well, this is 2011. The damn thing's 14 years old now.
Yeah. And then Laura says Schaumburg is about 15 miles from
Brookfield. Better get that thing out of the rain. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here.
Okay, man. Thanks for stopping by.
It was a pleasure.
Good to see you.
It's raining.
Come back when you get space for long.
Yeah.
I'm glad you dropped by.
Better get that out of the rain.
Nah. It's waterproof, yeah.
Bye, honey. Take it easy.
Good talking with you.
Hey, we're going to come over there one of these days when you least expect it.
Where?
You know how you just drop by here for a live? I'm coming over there.
Anytime, man.
You say that until I get there, and then Kristen's going to be going, man, I don't know why you invite him over here. He is just a handful for us. That we cannot deal with this guy. And the front door better be unlocked because I'm going to beat on it if it ain't.
He's right there. He'll just zip right over.
So it is locked.
Oh, it's always.
So you've got a real estate company to sell homes, but you don't let anybody in.
But I've got Blakely right there, and we do have a front desk where people come in. They come up the elevator at the front desk.
You have an elevator?
Yeah, we have an elevator. We have 2 people at a front desk in a lobby and a waiting room.
He's big time now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even sure I know where the place even is. I just know it's behind the American Legion somewhere.
Yes, the next building down from the American Legion, the 2-story building, and we're upstairs.
I know where it's at.
Is there a sign?
Oh, man, we got our windows wrapped. Can't miss our.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your hours?
Well, I mean, 9 to 5 is when Blakely and Christian are there.
When do you do your live? 6 o'clock, right?
6 to 7:38.
On Monday? You got to change that. My video comes out at 6 o'clock on Monday. It has for 15 years.
Your video?
I have a Monday video, Monday, Wednesday, Friday video. Always have. This is nothing new. That also tells me you don't watch, or you would know this.
Usually,
that's a video.
But
it's not live.
People can't watch my video and go to your live at the same time.
Well, they can watch.
I'm just trying to help you out.
Afterwards.
Yeah, but I'm the star here. So if you if you would move your live over to Tuesday, you get a lot more people to view.
Think I should do that?
No, I don't know. I'm just bullshitting.
See you later.
See you, man.
Bye.
Hey, by the way, tell Christian I said I've noticed a difference in his thumbnails. They're much better.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Well, he's watching.
Oh, is he?
Oh.
So you might be able to.
Yeah. No, he's doing a good job on them thumbnails. I like them a lot.
Don't let him get wet.
I know how much effort goes into that. Yeah. I'm gonna have you pick me up someday so we can go look at some houses.
Whenever you're ready.
Do you know what I'm looking for? I've been looking for a while. I'm looking for.
Park your RV.
That's right. Just so you know.
I know.
It don't have to be 5 acres either, but if it is, I'll take it.
Okay. Laura says Google.
See you, man.
Google man put hand in wolf enclosure at Brookfield Zoo. This happened a few years ago. She said Google it.
Google what?
Man put hand in wolf enclosure at Brookfield Zoo.
Put hand in what?
Wolf enclosure.
Put a man.
The man put his hand in a wolf enclosure.
Oh, people does all kinds of stupid stuff. There's one somewhere, I think in New York, where a woman climbed a wall to go over and get her picture taken with a polar bear, and the polar bear reached through the bars, got a hold of her leg, pulled it in, and started biting on her leg. She ended up going to the hospital, and she sued the zoo. That's what I mean by common sense. You're an idiot, and you're suing the zoo.
Barbara Mormino says we have the lemurs at Duke. Okay.
I feel like I'm all wound up today for some reason.
Yeah, I think you are. You had too many cookies.
I don't know. I sure do like them snickerdoodles.
I know you do. And I said, that's the one cookie I never make. No. Laura says, I think I'll plant a St. Joseph statue near my front door in July. Well, it couldn't hurt, Laura. You know, I know people that swore Deb put one on her house before she moved. So
let me put the camera back over here where we don't look so far away.
The
where did I have it? Here, in front of this.
Yeah, I think right there.
That seem right?
Yeah.
Can you see both of us?
Not yet. I must be on the not be on the live.
How do you not be on the live?
Well, I don't know, but you're still sitting in the chair, so I'm not on the live. It's playing, but yeah.
Yeah, both of us are on it.
Okay.
I think I need to raise it up a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe like that.
Rester says the only animals they have in the Hershey Zoo are chocolate labs.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, Jason Leah says, hi, Ira. We will be there in 20 days. We will give you a call later. If we buy, can you get me some of Skip's snickerdoodles?
They're in there.
Jason,
Hello.
The snickerdoodles are, yeah, they were made by Karen Jacks. She's a terrific baker. We love her cookies. And then I said she brought him some snickerdoodles and brought some chocolate chip with nuts in it. So he won't have to rely on the oatmeal cookies so much. So Cat to be in the 603 says, Laura Lampy, I just heard about burying a St. Joseph statue when you want to sell your home. Does it have to be upside down? You know, that I don't know. I've always heard about burying the statue, but I've never heard whether it's upside down or not.
That's one of them witchery things.
Oh, no.
There's nothing anywhere that says you have to bury a statue. That's just a made up.
It's a Catholic thing.
It's a made up thing.
Yeah, it's a Catholic thing.
Show me in the Bible where it says that. Nothing in there. It's a made up thing.
Okay.
Somebody's parents, grandparents, great grandparents, they just passed this thing down where everybody goes, well, you have to do it. No, you don't.
Well, if you want to sell your house, like I said, it can't hurt.
Well, I mean, it's a good luck thing. Okay, that's fine. If you feel good about it, do whatever makes you sleep good at night. Okay. That's what I always say. Jerry
says Skip's going to wear overalls to the wedding. Oh, no. No. And I know they're up in the wilderness up there. They're like 5 miles. The farm's like 5 miles from the Canada border. But he's not wearing overalls.
How far is it from her house? Because that's where we're going to be parking, is right there next to our house.
Right, and that's what I said. I think it's like 5 miles from the border.
That's the border. How far is the wedding from her house?
It's at her house, on the farm.
She don't have a house on a farm.
Okay, I don't know then.
It's at his parents' house that has the farm.
Yeah, it will be hers as soon as they're married.
How far is that from Nixon's house?
I don't know.
See, just simple answers is all I look for.
Why didn't you ask her when you was talking to her?
You kept talking about the border.
Well, they said, they're close.
You don't know that. The nearest Walmart's 75 miles away.
Oh, yeah. Bad Karma's the time for Skip to dust off the tuxedo T-shirt.
I actually thought about that. I did. As a joke. What I was going to do is put on my khakis, whatever, put on this tuxedo T-shirt, take the other stuff with me in the car, be in the car somewhere, and then show up like that and see what anybody would say. They
wouldn't say anything, but I would.
I did that with my granddaughters when they were going through that stage of blue hair and ring in the nose and all this stupid stuff. And I got me some magnetic jewelry where you could put some piece inside the nose and this round ball would stick on the outside of the nose. I had it for the ear. And I went in and I told Sue, I said, don't say anything. I want to see what they say. And none of them said anything. They give me the look. As I would walk by, my peripheral vision, I could see them kind of looking at me and watching me as I walk around. But nobody said a word.
Yeah. Becky Forward says, oh, damn, I never got the notification. Hello, Skip, Sue, and Ira.
Yeah, well you're not subscribed.
I said, Ira had to go. He's working man. So,
yeah, he's selling houses. He probably had a meeting at some house somewhere.
Okay.
They got an abundant amount of pre-owned homes here for sale now. Abundant amount. Which you would expect that because we're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so thus there should be more and more people dying or moving or whatever.
And they're building.
And but I'm talking pre-owned homes. They're not building pre-owned homes.
No.
And just pre-owned home, what do you say, 600 some pre-owned homes?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's more than I
and the
can ever
paper this
remember.
morning, they were talking about they're going to build some patio villas here in Brownwood on 44A.
That's that area over there. When I did the video on my news, if you watch it, I simply said, take it or leave it, like it or not, don't really care. I said, he'll get that done whether people protest against it or not. They were protesting about it, saying that that's a park area. They're not supposed to put anything in there. And I said, he's got 2 votes. That's all he needs, bought and paid for, over there at the commission. And I did news the next week where it was approved. Those 2 votes came in, and so now they're going to build them.
And Barbara says, yeah, you're supposed to bury it upside down facing the house. And she's offered to send you a statue, Kevin.
I've sold a lot of houses, and I ain't buried anything.
And Kevin says it's already there. He's already got one. Yeah. Okay.
Kevin said what?
He's already got one. He said it's already there. He's already got his. He's got the statue buried already.
You people are crazy.
So I said, doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Well, it's just like that lady in New Orleans, They're still putting dried up chicken feet at her grave, probably.
Yeah. Rester says, wait, did Skip say there is no dress code at the wedding? You're sure it's not a nudist wedding?
No.
If Skip showed up all natural, the entire wedding party would go blind.
Yeah. Well, she never said there was no dress code. I called to find out if there was a dress code, and she said not really, but she said everybody will probably show up in blue jeans and probably she didn't say t-shirt. She said some kind of shirt. So I don't know what that is up there. You got to remember, when you drive around this country, what you think is totally correct where you live may not be totally correct in other states. They just don't do it that way. Yeah. And so that's why I asked her, what's the dress code?
Yeah, and since it is a formal wedding, if they were going to a justice of peace, something like that, probably wouldn't matter. But since it's a formal wedding, then I thought the attire should be
she did say, decent. If I remember right, that the bridesmaids were going to be wearing blue, so you might want to avoid that color. I think that's what I have to check again, but I'm pretty sure that's what she said.
Oh, okay.
Why I have to avoid blue because bridesmaids are in blue? Are they afraid I'll clash?
No, I think it was green, but okay.
Was it green?
I think so.
Maybe that's whatever color it was, which I'm not going to wear that color anyway. I don't like green, and I also don't like purple whatsoever.
Okay. Okay. Peter says, everyone tune in to Ira for Monday Night Live. Great show, just like Porch Settin with Skip and Sue. Yeah, Ira's on every Monday night. And Rosemary says, hi there, Ira. You would know me as Elmer Fudd. Cute, Rosemary. Yeah. Rester says, not raining, just a flock of cranes flying by. Well, all of a sudden it quit.
Well.
Whatever it was spitting rain, but when Ira left, it just quit.
Yeah, looks like we could get more.
Yeah.
Sooner or later. Matter of fact, if I remember right, the weather today called for rain tonight.
Yeah, like I said, my phone says 6, around 6.
Believe it or not, down here, I find that to be more accurate than not. If it says 6, it probably is going to rain.
Yeah. Okay. Jerry Bell says, Skip's going Rudy Kazootie. Yeah,
Rudy Kazootie.
He does that at times. And let's see. Janine Kelly says, I did not bury St. Joseph. It still works. Yeah, you still sell the house one way or the other, but
you tie a rope on it and hang it upside down in a tree.
Yeah, you never know. So it's just one of those things, that it's been handed down, like you said, from family to family. And I believe it's a Catholic thing. Well, because, St. Joseph. But anyhow, it can't hurt anything. I said, if it helps, okay. Yeah.
So all you Catholics out there, what do you think about this new Catholic Pope being from America? I find that kind of shocking. I
think everybody did.
Everybody hates America now, and yet they made a Pope from America. You just got to wonder if there's any politics involved there.
Yeah,
Well, they vote behind the doors. Nobody knows what anybody says or does or anything, but all of a sudden it's American. And then we have all this disruption here. It's like, I wonder if that's a political move.
Oh, by who? Let's see. My phone's quit with the comments again.
Maybe she goes to the live show.
Yeah. Well, if you think that'll work.
Huh?
I said, if you think that'll work.
Wait a minute, if I think it'll work.
I did it, okay?
Are you live?
It says I am.
I don't care. Are we moving like we're talking? Do you see my hand waving?
There's a delay, but yes,
I know,
I
but
see
did
it.
my hand wave?
Yes.
Okay.
And I got to sit up. I'm slouching. This chair's killing me. I don't have my pillow. Yeah, I usually have a pillow in the back of the chair here, so love these chairs, but I should still have to have the pillow. Rhonda Schlangen says, question on this swimming pool with unwanted guests. Why don't they issue rubber wristbands that people wear when in the pool?
Doesn't make any difference. Nobody would check it because we have a rule here that if you're in the pool, they cannot ask you to come out of the pool to show your wristband, ID, or anything else you got. So when they see them coming, they just jump in the pool and they can't ask them to get out.
Yeah, but a wristband would probably be a lot less expensive than, putting in card readers and that kind of thing. But I just don't think they want to change much of anything, truthfully. No. It's not gotten to be that much of a problem yet. I think it will be in the future, but
the biggest problem we have with our adult pool up here, and I see this like a dozen times a day, every day, nothing gets done. Rohan's actually called me and yelled at me and stuff because I've been complaining about it, that outside contractors stop at our pool and use it like a public restroom. It's not a public restroom. It's for guests and residents only. That's what it's for. That's what the sign says. But you'll go in there and there'll be a trailer, 2 trailers, and a couple of trucks, and they're just going in and out, tracking things in there. And then every year you'll hear about that pool being closed down because they're steam cleaning the bathroom, they're changing toilets, they're cleaning the floor, removing the tile. We're paying for all this upgrade, and they're going in there and tearing it up, and they're not paying anything. You say, well, where else can they go? Well, let me tell you, numbnuts, all of our country clubs around here are open to the public. Huge parking lots. That's where the public restrooms are at, not our pool. And they don't monitor it. They don't do anything. They don't, nothing.
And there are some contractors that are very conscientious, and they bring a porta potty. If they've got a job that's going to take some time, they bring a porta potty and set it at the end of your driveway until they're done with the job, which is,
The ones that are usually parked up there, I've noticed, are people that mow grass.
Mostly.
They show in there with their trailers and stuff, and they use it all the time. And Rohan told me, and I think he is correct, he said, people that work for the villages, contracted to do work for the villages, they're all told not to use any of those restrooms. They're not open to the public. And they give them a list of restrooms they can use. Downtown at any of the squares, there's all kinds of public restrooms. All of our country clubs are open to the public. They can use them. They just tell them you can't use these. And I guess they do follow that. He says most of the people going in these restrooms or areas where they're not supposed to be, like the swimming pool areas, are people we hire to do our yards. And I think he is correct about that.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to agree with him, but I think he's correct.
Yeah.
That I don't tell my guy not to go down there. The guy that mows my yard, I don't know that he does. I've never seen him down there, but that's who's doing it. We're doing it. And how do we stop that? I don't know. I don't have no legal right to tell them people where to go and where not to go. The only thing I can see is this: go down there someday, and this could be a video, is to go down there in my golf cart and sit there with my camera. And every time one of them guys pulls in there, call down to the rec center where the guy's got the monitoring thing and tell them and see how fast they get up there and video all of that and then show you exactly what's going on.
But we are not going to do that.
I might.
Yeah.
You never know.
Wrestler says we had a silver pheasant in our backyard
I saw that. That's a weird looking bird.
So pro tip, silver pheasants don't poop silver, just so you know.
I've never heard of a silver pheasant.
It
looks like a tall, skinny chicken.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a pheasant,
No,
a pheasant.
Razor Girl said you can't eat it. She called it, said it had a something meat. She called it the meat a name.
Oh, okay.
Like oogla woogla meat. I don't even know what it was.
I don't know.
She said, but so it'd be very hard to eat.
Yeah.
But I have never even seen a pheasant that looked like that.
And Tammy says workers use our adult pool bathrooms all the time in Moultrie Creek. Yes, they do here too. And I said, it's, I don't know what the solution is, but like I said, she said armbands, but like I said, they don't ask you if you're in the pool. And like I said, that would be a cheaper way of watching who comes in. But, all they need is a sign saying this is off limits to
There's a sign
outside.
hanging on the gate. I showed that sign once and talked about who's supposed to be
Well,
here.
somewhere along the line, somebody's got permission to go in there.
No, they don't have permission. I'm telling you, there's just no, they just go in.
So it's word of mouth saying, hey, that pool's open or that bathroom's open?
Yes, when one contractor does it and he sees another one in there, he goes, oh, I guess we can go in there.
Yeah.
And then next contractor goes, oh, I guess we can go in there. And so next thing you know, 10 years later, like we are, everybody goes in there.
Rasmus, I know it was a silver pheasant because I asked what it was on Skip's Discord. Another great reason to become a Patreon member. Yeah, you find out so much stuff because I said, what we don't know, our Patreon members, like I said, they're either down here or they're coming down here and they're pretty good on their facts. If you want to know something, if we don't know, one of them might. So.
Well, that's why we started Discord. I don't get on there that much. I read. Sometimes I post pictures when I'm doing something, but I don't really get into discussions in there all that much because the idea of Discord was everybody hears what I've said about everything 100 times, and they've heard Sue's opinions about things 100 times. And I don't want people to think that we're always one-sided on something. So I did Discord because there's like, 300 or 400 people on there now, and they're not all in there all the time. They just come and go. But you can ask them people their opinion about anything you want, and you get their side of it. And you don't have to take my side of it all the time. Like, for example, let's say you buy a new house down where Jerry bought a house. Where'd he buy a house? Down south, District 15 or something down there. I don't know anything about District 15. So let's say you buy a house down there and you're wanting to know, who do you get to mow your grass? I can't tell you that. I don't know that my guy goes all the way down there. Most of these landscapers now we're getting so big that they're getting picky about the area that they're willing to travel in, and they don't go anywhere else. So by having Discord, you can ask somebody like Jerry, who mows your grass, and he can give you a name and a number down there. And that's why we started this. And then a lot of them kind of take, I won't say advantage, but they kind of do things on their own. I don't have anything to do with it. Like Linda decided to have that Discord party over at her house with the Cuban sandwiches. I had nothing to do with that. So when people say, hey, thanks, Skip, I didn't do that. Linda and Jose set that up, and I just showed up.
They did a wonderful job, too. They did. Rester says you get to Discord via the internet, and we all know everything you hear on the internet is true.
Yeah, believe that.
Yeah. Kevin says anyone can walk in the pool area, and they have chemicals on their shoes, not good for walking barefoot in the pool area.
True.
That's right.
I even brought that up to Rohan. I said, listen, they come around, everybody hires what do you call them, a guy that takes care of your grass. What do you call them?
Landscaper?
Huh?
Landscaper?
No, that's the guy that does mowing and stuff. But anyway, people come and take care of your lawn. They spray it for bugs.
Oh, okay.
They spray your yard with fertilizer, liquid fertilizer. They come around, they'll spray your bushes for mosquitoes during mosquito season. All this chemicals is all over your yard. That's why I'm really leery about our dog getting in somebody's yard and taking a poop, because he's getting this chemical on his paws. It could make him sick. I don't know that it would. I'm just saying it could be. So you have all these chemicals in here, and these guys are coming in here like Chano. He does all my trimmings, which I love Chano. But his crew's walking all through my grass and everything that's been fertilized and sprayed and whatever. If he goes down there, and maybe he does, I don't know that he doesn't, he goes in there and walks through there, he's got all his chemicals on his shoes, him and his whole crew. Well, if you have an allergic reaction to anything that's on their shoe, guess what? There it is, and you're walking around barefooted in it.
Yeah.
And so these are some of the complaints that I have told Mr. Rohan about. I give him respect. I called him Mr. That he doesn't seem to take very serious at all.
Okay. Tammy says, never used Discord before. I will give it a try. Jerry's new house isn't too far from me.
Tammy, you can't use Discord unless I send you a link. It's private.
Okay. You have to be a Patreon member?
You have to be a Patreon member, number one. And then you send me a thing on Patreon. Patreon will send me a thing. I got one today that says you're a new member. Once I get that, then I go to Patreon and get your email that you put on Patreon, and then I will send you a link, and then you can follow the link, whatever it tells you on there, to become a member. And as long as you stay a member on Patreon, you only have to sign in Discord one time, and that's it forever. As soon as you drop out, though, your link is gone.
Yeah. Jerry says he bought a couple of goats to cut the grass.
Yeah, and you can always eat the goat.
Yeah, you don't have much grass around here, but you know you still got to take care of it. And Laura says sell goat cheese. Sell goat cheese. So, Rester says I can tell you firsthand that Skip's Discord is truly a good source of info. I asked about vegan restaurants, and many people had no problem telling me where to go.
I'll bet.
There are some here.
Even though I didn't know this, that when they had that Discord thing at Linda's house, he made empanadas.
Empanadas, yeah.
I didn't find out till later that there was no meat in it.
Yeah, there was no meat.
But there was some kind of meat substitute or something in there.
Yeah, there was like the Impossible Burger.
No, it wasn't Impossible Burger. He called it a name.
Okay.
And whatever it was good. I ate 2 of them.
Yeah. And I said, you know, I don't do a lot of them because there's a lot of chemicals in that no meat stuff, but you can eat without the meat.
Yeah, but it wasn't that impossible. It wasn't. Actually, I don't even think it was ground beef. I think he told me it was chicken of some kind.
Yeah.
But I don't swear that. You have to ask him. Okay. All I know is I ate 2 of them.
Yeah, and they were really good. And he did that on purpose because so many of us are.
So there's so many weird people in there that doesn't want to eat real
weird.
Food. Weird.
Yeah. I eat what tastes good.
Steak is really good.
Well, I don't eat red meat.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that bloody plate stuff that we get you get once in a while whenever we go out to a steak place?
When have you last seen me eat that?
We haven't been to a steak place in a long time.
Well, that's what I said.
But you said you never eat anything.
I don't now.
I'll bet you would. What do they call it?
Prime rib.
Prime rib.
I haven't had prime rib. I haven't had a Reuben in over 2 years.
Let me tell you,
I love both of them.
There's nothing that looks more disgusting to me than prime rib.
Yeah, and I think it's the best cut of meat you can have. But that's me.
You have a plate full of blood.
Okay. Oh, and Laura says I love goat cheese, but I don't know if it's vegan.
Yeah. Cheese. Yeah. Truthfully, there again, people are just sometimes so. What I think are weird is they don't eat meat. Okay, fine. Well, how about milk? Well, I can't have that either. That's dairy. That comes from a cow.
Like I said, you got to go through your paces because there's vegan, there's vegetarian, there's Whole Foods. Everybody's got their own thing. So.
Fly on that other jet right over there. They don't have peanut butter, dairy, meat, or anything over there. This plane here is for normal people.
Yeah. They feed you peanuts.
Peanuts, there's another.
Yeah. Okay. And Rosemary says it's not blood.
They always say it's some kind of a juice or something that they pour over it.
Yeah.
Where does that juice come from?
Well, the au jus that comes from prime rib, I mean...
It's the blood that seeps out of the meat?
You ever had roast beef sandwich?
No.
Well, the ones that they used to make at Arts?
No, I never
had one. The best in the world. I mean, they were really, really good.
Because of that juice. I'm not... Oh. It's soggy bread. I'm not eating soggy bread.
Yeah. Okay. But, yeah. Like I said, it's one of the things I did love prime rib. If I ate any red meat at all, it'd be prime rib. And I love Reubens. I really, really do. And I haven't had any it's been 2 years now. But it's not like I don't eat any meat. I don't eat red meat. And I very seldom eat pork. I do every once in a while. I don't have a thing against ham or bacon, but I don't normally eat it. But, it's for my health, not anything else. The red meat makes my bones hurt.
By the way, when we stopped at Ramshackles, Jose had never been there.
Uh-huh.
I told him, I said, well, the biggest problem with Ramshackles is not the food or the restaurant or anything. It's the parking.
It's the parking.
And when you leave there, getting out of there and heading back toward the villages is a problem.
Yeah, when Deb and I did the video there, that I told people that was the problem because you're right there at the light. So to get out of the parking lot, if somebody don't let you out, you're stuck there.
So, and we go in there and he orders like the same stuff from different Brazilian or whatever restaurants, and then he compares them to the best to whatever. So he ordered what was it? What is it? Fajitas that you come with the thing and you put it on there and cheese and
Yeah.
anyway. Well, I had a picture on Discord. You can see it. All that is part of his fajitas. He put on there that was all for me. It's not me. That's his stuff that he ordered.
Right.
I had the tenderloin sandwich, so that's all his stuff. He said that for the price and everything, he said that was some of the best he'd ever had, and he had never been there before. But he says I am going back.
Ah, good.
So
yeah, take Maria. She'll like it too.
yeah, it's not a fancy place. It's basically a blue collar place.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in there in the summertime when I was working. Sue and I went in there once for some reason. I forget what it was. I don't even know why we was over there. Probably just checking the area out. And the outside deck was full of people. They were sitting out there with hammers hanging off of their belt. Remember all that? Mm-hmm. It's just a blue collar place for people to stop and have lunch and whatever. But the biggest problem there, you have to time it. Don't go in during lunch. Don't go in during dinner. I'm just telling you, don't.
Yeah. And there's a hotel behind it, so you know.
Yeah, there's a hotel there
too.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
But we went in at I'm going to take a guess here. 10 o'clock. We went over there 11 o'clock. We got to the welding shop noon. 1. We was probably there around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Parking lot was almost empty, just right in.
Yeah.
But when we left, there were people parked in the road. You couldn't even hardly get out.
Yeah, like I said, it's a local hangout. It really is. But they do have good food, and I used to love their breaded tenderloins. You know, you don't get them around here very much because that's a northern thing. But they had breaded tenderloins that was pretty darn good.
Yeah, they weren't like Indiana tenderloins, but it was a tenderloin back when nobody here knew what that even was.
Yeah.
Breaded tenderloin. And they had them there, and I went there and got one, and that I guess that's why I like the places, because they had something that I understood. And then somebody sent me a text on Discord saying, "Oh yeah, a buddy of mine lives over there, and he said that place burns down every so many years like clockwork, and they changed owners several times every so many years, blah blah blah." So the waitress is there. I'm talking to her. I said, "Hey, how long have you worked here?" Before I asked any questions, I asked her. She said, "Oh, I've been here for," I think she said, like 23 years.
18.
I said, "Oh, I keep getting messages from people telling me that this place keeps burning down every so many years." She said, "Since I've been here," she said, "they've had one kitchen fire that I know of. The grease got on fire. Didn't cause any damage. But," she said, "the alarms went off. They did show up. They put the fire out, and then they investigated how it got started, blah, blah, blah." She said, "That's the only fire I know about in 23 years. I said, "How about the owners? How many new owners have you had?" She said, "One." She said, "There's actually 3 people that own this place. And one of those owners sold out to another person because they wanted to retire or something." And she said, "So in 23 years, I know of one new owner." Yeah. So you can't listen to this stuff on internet and shit. People don't know what they're talking about half the time.
Laura says, "My dad worked in a meat packing plant for 40 years. We weren't allowed to be vegetarians." Yeah, I understand that. You know, on the farm we had, you know, we butcher our own cows and pigs and what have you. So it wasn't a brilliant plan at the time, but that's the way you did things. And I said, I only found out that the red meat causes the inflammation because of it hurt. You know, and
I'm saying that what they're talking about is people who eat their meat half raw.
And well,
if it's well cooked, anything that's in there is gone.
But you know, anybody that knows anything about food, if you cook things too long, you lose any flavor.
I know a lot of.
Well, I know. I've seen you eat chicken. I can't stand it.
Because you're not the one eating it.
Well, I know. But like I said, you cook it so long, it's like eating cardboard. Yeah, same way with a steak. You know, you want it to where it has no taste to me at all.
It's medium well. The taste suits me.
Well,
I'm the one
and you're the one that eating it. So.
And I have never had any inflammation problems.
Oh, Jessica says, "Just ate breaded tenderloin for lunch. Missed it so much, could not find it in Georgia or Florida."
Is that our Jessica?
Yes, it's our Jessica.
Yeah, enjoy them tenderloins, ma'am. Well, you know, you've been down here. You can't get them here. Yeah. And I'm talking about like the Indiana.
Yeah, who's your tenderloin? You know, you need 3 buns for one.
Oh, they're so good.
Yes. Oh, and Jerry's asking her when's she coming down to visit. Well, never. I don't see that happening soon, but
no,
yeah, we miss you, Jess.
She's back in Indiana, and her sister had another new baby. So, and I assume that's probably why she's up there. I don't know why she's up there, but she just moved in a new house somewhere up in Marion, I think, around Marion. Told her next time I come up, I'll give her a call, but The truth is, Marion's kind of out of the way of any place I ever go up there. So's Fort Wayne. The idea of going through Indiana anymore is just like off my clock. It's
You just won't
not
want to go.
really, because once you get to Indiana, it never ends. You go here to visit so and so, then 50 miles up the road, you stop and visit so and so. 40 miles over here, you stop and visit. You got to, because if they find out that you didn't stop there,
Just like you.
but in a car is one thing, and you have a hotel and you go here. But if you're in a motorhome, I can't park this thing just anywhere.
Well,
And half these places where these people live, there's no parking.
yeah.
Like where Julie lives, where would I park it there?
Becky Forbes says, my doctor recommended a carnivore diet to combat my inflammation. It has helped out, but I can't afford to buy the meat. Well, you know, I'm just the opposite. It's the red meat that hurts my my scars. And I found that out by way of attrition. You know, I quit eating it, and that helped so much that I just continue to do that. But I eat fish, you know, and I love shrimp and scallops, and in a pinch, I'll eat chicken. But I just try to stay away from the red meat as much as possible. Not that I wouldn't ever, because I love hot dogs, and you know, when Portillo's gets open, I'm gonna go sample their hot dog.
I just wonder where this hat came from. I just grabbed it in there with it. I'm like, where'd this new hat come from? It's somebody must have sent this to me. It's from Michigan Department of Corrections.
Yes.
Your family business.
Yeah. Yeah. TR Maine says it's pretty rainy here in Oklahoma. Well, I said, we've been having off and on rain for the last couple of weeks, which we needed it. You know, I know that. It's just, when it's dreary like this for more than a couple of days, I get really bitchy. I do. Wrestler says, Luann makes a mean vegan ratatouille. And yes, Skip, with vegan rat tails.
That's okay. I'll eat my beefaroni.
Oh, Becky says $11 a pound for ground beef around here. Yeah, it's.
How much is it here?
It depends on where you go.
Well, first of all, the normal ground beef they have in grocery store here is not good, full of gristle. It's just nasty. You have to buy the what do you get? The upscale hamburger.
Yeah, you can get ground round, ground sirloin, or ground beef. So you decide which, you know.
You got hamburger at some special store here, because I
get it at Fresh Market.
Yeah, because whatever hamburger they use or meat they use, it's 10 times better than anything I've ever had. No gristle in it. It's just
same way with the steaks. You won't eat anybody else's steaks.
Per pound.
So, and I haven't checked lately, so because I don't go all the time. I usually buy that stuff ahead and put in the freezer, and so I haven't been there for a while. And Laura wants to know if I like salmon. You know, I do, but it's not. You know, I've had a salmon steak before, and it just, I don't know. It's like not eating anything to me. It doesn't fill me up. But it's okay. Yeah, and Jerry says $2.99 in Ohio, on sale normally $5.
What, hamburger?
Yeah, and when she said $11,
that's probably for some high dollar hamburger.
Yeah.
There's a difference. And all this meat problem started with NAFTA. You can thank President Clinton for that, because they allow a certain percentage of meat to come from Mexico, a certain percentage of meat to come from Canada, and then U.S. meat. They mix it together, and then they go by batch number. Before that, you never heard of a batch number. And so then when they recall something because they found something, whatever they find, if your meat has batch number so-and-so between this number and that number, take it back to the store. So this stuff of exchanging stuff back and forth from one country to another, I'm not a real big fan of it.
Laura says, try Portillo's for hot dogs, Italian beef, and chopped salad. Yeah, and I'm going to, because I went to Portillo's once in Indiana with my son, and really, really liked it. And I said, although I don't eat that kind of meat anymore, I said, I'm going to try them. I said, so there's no hard and fast rule. I don't normally. It doesn't mean I won't ever. So, Becky Forbes says, I found an organic beef grower in Texas. It's $7 a pound, delivered to the door. I ordered for the first time, so I'll know in a couple days. Yeah, and I said, that's the best. I think, you know, when we raised our own animals, that's about the best meat you can get, as long as you're assured that you're getting your cow or your pig. Because when it goes to a butcher, you know, sometimes you have to worry about that.
Well, they
But
steal meat. That's always been the problem with butchers. Is if you got a 1,000-pound cow, it'll dress out about 500, 550 pounds. Then you tell him how you want it cut. You know, steaks, hamburgers, blah blah blah. And but out of 550 pounds, he might take 25 pounds, and take it home. You don't know, and there's no way you're going to ever be
just
able
switch it with
to
somebody
prove that.
else's. So yeah, but that was
Yeah.
the best. That was
No,
the
we
best
never
meat.
got somebody else's cow because where I took mine, they branded it after it was dead, and they would send me a copy, and the brand was on the meat, so I knew what I had, and we always got it because I wanted mine because we never used any kind of chemicals on our animals, none ever. If it took them longer to dress out or fill out, then that's just what we done.
Yeah.
I never put chemicals in their ground feed or any of that stuff. Everything was natural. And I think it showed up in the meat because our meat was always good, always tender, no gristle.
Yeah.
That sinew, that stuff they talk about, I don't recall us ever having that in our beef either, sinew.
And TR says, do you like deer meat? It's lean.
I like the deer sausage. I don't like the deer meat itself. It's got a gamey taste to it. Real wild deer, that is, if you're not talking about farm-raised deer. But I have had deer sausage. A guy I used to work with at overnight, worked UPS, and he hunted deer, and that's what he did. He made nothing but deer sausage, and then he sold it. That's how he made some extra money.
Yeah.
And he brought something into me one day, and I tasted it. And said, "Oh my God!" I said, "Whatever seasonings he used in there, it was really good."
And it's not like I would go to the store and buy deer meat.
I don't think you can.
Well, I don't know if you can or not, but I wouldn't do that. I have tasted
Maybe
a couple
you can. I don't
times.
know. They have wild hog meat
Yeah.
around here. I've seen that.
Some guy that I used to work with used to make a beef stew, only used deer meat. It was excellent. Really, I didn't have any idea that what it was, but it was very, very good. But it's just not something that I would go out and buy.
Well, it's like moonshine. I'm not a big drinker of any kind of moonshine. It's too strong. It's too everything. Sue says it tastes like paint thinner, and it kind of does. But Donnie lived next door here, was from New Orleans. Actually, he wasn't from New Orleans. He was from islands outside of New Orleans because he went there every year. Him and his buddies would get together, and they have a Cajun band out there and stuff. So he would come back with a little bit of moonshine, and I told him, I just don't care for it, Donnie. It's just, the moonshine's not for me. He says it makes a killer Bloody Mary. I said, and I've never really had that many Bloody Marys in my life either. I said, well, I don't know. I guess I'd try it. So he called me over there one day, and he had me a Bloody Mary over there, and I got to tell you, it was pretty good.
And then Becky says, so you probably have a problem with the beef in the store because it often has a lot of additives in it. That could be. I really don't know. Like I said, didn't seem to have a problem when we had our own, but I was much younger then. And I didn't have a lot of scars.
Even if you buy stuff in a can, I don't understand these ingredients. The law says they got to put them on there, but then I look at these ingredients and I sometimes wonder, why are we eating this stuff? Do you know what this is? This benzidine hydrate crap that they put? And everybody says, well, that's preservatives. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it ain't. I don't know. But all I know is I'm eating it.
Yeah.
I like the stuff where you open it. I looked at something somewhere. I forget what it was. It was a drink. Let's say it was orange juice because I don't remember what it was. And I looked at the ingredients, and here was the ingredients. Orange juice, sugar, water. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, but you don't want to have to go out and buy your groceries every day. That's what the preservatives are for. So, if you can't, that's why most of my stuff's frozen because I don't let it.
Well, my mom had we had a huge freezer on our back porch on the farm. Mom was a believer. Maybe she's right, maybe she's not, but we were raised this way. If you freeze it, it will last forever.
My mother had the same idea. Like I said, when we cleaned out her house, there was stuff in that freezer had 1970 on it.
I know. Mom did the same thing. I said, well, how do you know what to pick? She said, well, I go to the bottom of the freezer. That's the oldest stuff down there.
I said, if you do that, you don't have that old stuff down there. But, but most of them don't.
Mom had bread in there that had been in there for months. She'd freeze bread. She froze milk. She froze everything.
Yeah, well, I think you can leave it in there for a long time, but once it gets that freezer burn.
If there was something on sale at the grocery store she wanted, and they didn't have a limit back then, nobody had a limit. If it was like milk was on sale for 99 cents a gallon, that seemed to be a price that I remember. Maybe it was less than that. Anyway, She'd buy 6 gallons because it was on sale. That's the way she saved money. 5 gallons is going to go in the freezer.
Yeah.
Coke. Dad used to buy, well, it was Pepsi, and it come in a wooden case, and there was 24 bottles to a case. And Dad would store them. And I think he stored them because he didn't want us kids to find them. But he would store somewhere, and that case would last a month.
Yeah.
Mom froze bread because she used to go to Sap's Bakery in Anderson, and they would have donuts in a box. And in this box, you get a mixed box. That'd be, I don't even remember how many donuts are in there. I'll say 48. You remember them big boxes at Sap?
I do.
I don't know how many's in there. There's a lot. Mom might take out 3 or 4 or 5 of them and put them on a plate for us kids, and then the rest of them in the freezer.
Yeah.
Everything was in the freezer.
Yeah, and you know that it makes sense to do things that way, but yeah, you got to watch. I don't know how long. I mean, they've got a date when it's not good to freeze them because it does get freezer burn. My mom used to make us banana bread. She loved making banana bread because she would buy a whole thing of bananas when they were on sale, and you know bananas don't last forever. So she would make banana bread out of them, and then she'd freeze the banana bread. Well, I know that, you know, every time we'd come over, she'd give us banana bread to take home. And it was wonderful, and she was a great baker. But if it had been in the freezer very long, it had freezer burn, and it was dry as a board.
I don't think that hurt you.
Oh, it doesn't hurt you. But like I said,
I was gonna say, I'm 73, and I had all this crappy stuff you're talking about, and I'm still here.
Oh, well, I mean, it's just not the best. It's just, like I said, freezer burns and nasty taste to me. But, yeah. Wrestler says Trump redid the NAFTA agreement during his first term, Skip. Ha!
I don't think any of that's been approved. And that NAFTA agreement, what did he change? The NAFTA agreement is a ton of crap that is not good for truck drivers in this country. And that's what I key on is that, the truck drivers. Since when is America responsible for employing the world? We are not responsible for the employments of Canada or the employment of Mexico. When they did that NAFTA agreement, I mean, almost immediately, our highways got overrun with trucks. And when we had our Teamster meeting, they told us then that that is the only company that protested against the NAFTA agreement was Teamsters. Nobody else did. Nobody. And they said they see in the future that on the highway, the traffic would be predominantly trucks. And you see that today. How many times we go down the road and we truck over here, truck over there? You can't get anywhere.
Yeah. Let's see. Becky Forbes said, did you know that they can claim U.S.-grown meat if it's on our shores for 24 hours? I didn't know that, Becky, but I do know it's kind of like, remember all the car companies used to be here in the United States. And then they started getting them from overseas because they would have parts here. And as long as it had so many parts from the U.S. in it, then it was American made. And that's where it started right there. And I said the same way with the fruits and vegetables and the meat, what have you. If there's so many parts that's been in America, it makes it American.
I think the union contracts now says that a certain percentage of a car has to be American made. If not, then it says assembled in America, not made in America.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. So I don't know how all this is going to turn out, but you know, you can talk about politics all you want. I'm really not. I'm just simply saying everybody keeps bitching about more jobs, better paying jobs. Well, there's only one way to do that. You got to stop foreign stuff coming in here and cutting our rates.
Yeah. On the other hand, you get oranges in the dead of winter.
Well, and the thing of it is people are always going to say, but if we do that, then the price of everything is going to go higher, and that's probably true. I ain't going to argue about that, but it comes back into the system. If the people working at General Motors are making more money, they're going to spend more money. I mean, it's just how it works. Now, does that help you and me?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, Ricky P says fuel prices up, meat goes up. Gas comes down, meat stays up. That's kind of how it works. True. Yeah.
Well, you know why? Because the government's in control of meat products. They control the market on meat. When you go to an elevator with a load of corn that you just raised, the government sets a price on that corn. And that's how they control the price of cornflakes. Mm-hmm. You might say that it's not done that way, but I'm here to tell you, I farmed, and we went to the elevator, and we had a grain bank that we would put some of our corn in and sell it later on down the road, and it's limited on what you can put in there. They tell you on a daily basis, you go in, and you have no say-so about it. You go in there and they say, well, today we're paying $1 a bushel for corn. That's it. That's the price. You can't negotiate that. You just put it in your own corn crib if you got it. Most farmers don't have a corn crib to handle 2,000 acres of corn. And so the next day you go in and you find out, well, the corn prices are up. Today it's $1.50. Since yesterday, now it's up $1.50. The government controls that.
Yeah. Barbara says, I'm with you, Sue. Can't quite get into salmon, no matter how it's cooked. Yeah, I haven't cooked ate it a lot of ways, but I've tried because I know it's good for you. But there's just something about it. It just doesn't fill me up, and it's like eating nothing. I know I love scallops, and I know Skip's is a textural thing. He can't stand scallops, but if it's cooked good, and if they put some kind of spice on them or what have you, to me, it's as good as eating shrimp.
It's as good as eating chicken fat.
Well, yeah, everybody's got their own degree of yuck. So, but yeah, I just never did get into salmon. Now, people that's lived on the coast, they have a different view.
That's a good T-shirt. I've been putting new products on my store on my YouTube channel down there where the cups are at. And I got like 4 new T-shirts on there. I'm working on. Has nothing to do with the villages. Most of them don't. It's just fun stuff. That's good. I'm gonna put that. I have my own degree of yuck.
Well, but you know what I mean. But the people that's lived on the coast where they have fresh seafood and everything, because you're not going to get that around here. Most places get it off the Cisco truck, like Skip says. But the people that come from the coast and they've had fresh seafood and they like the salmon, they like the oysters, that all that kind of stuff. It tastes different than what it does here. Whether it's the spices they put on it or what. But like I said, we were in Indiana. We were kind of landlocked. So we weren't privy to all that stuff you get out of the ocean unless it come on a truck. So that might have had something to do with it. But
well, it does, because whenever you freeze anything, it changes the texture. It changes the flavor most of the time. That's why lobsters are flown around the world. That's why they're expensive. They got to be fresh to really be good. And so they fly them. They put them in a box of ice. They're still alive. And they fly them. Well, that flight costs money.
Yeah, well,
maybe that's why Red Lobster went out of business. I don't know.
Tara Main says we have beef fat added to the deer, and it does not have that gamey taste at all.
Well, there's things you can do. There's no doubt. I'm just saying I don't like wild deer because it has a gamey taste.
It's got that wild taste. Yeah.
It's just like rabbit. I used to eat fried rabbit. My dad loved it. Wild rabbit. He'd go hunting, bring it home, and it looked like chicken, but I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And but it always had that gamey taste. I just didn't care for it. I'm not saying it's bad. I just didn't care for it.
Barbara Ebner says ground beef insane. Tried Wagyu beef and it didn't taste right. Is it me?
Well, Wagyu beef is the Japanese, if it's true Wagyu beef. And Wagyu beef, the cattle are raised totally different. It's a total different breed. I know a little bit about Wagyu beef, but to get it here in America, it is so pricey. If you go to a restaurant and order, let's say, a little Wagyu steak or whatever, it's an average of $100.
But she said the taste is different. And it is. If you're used to
it's a Japanese way. They don't give them grains. They feed them liquid all the time.
If you're used to what we have here, then yeah, it would probably taste different.
Yeah, meat in an animal always tastes like what it eats. And so if you feed them ground feed, it takes on that kind of flavor. If you feed them chocolate milk, it'll be a whole different texture, a whole different flavor. And I think that's how Wagyu is, that they don't really feed them food that has to be digested, so to speak. I think they feed them like liquid diets.
Okay.
That's why people like to eat, what do you call baby calves when they kill them?
Veal.
Veal? Veal. That's all it is. It's a baby milk cow. And when they get to be about 90 pounds, that's when they're killed. And the veal is very young baby meat, and that's what it is. Yeah. So, in case you don't know, I want to ruin it for you.
Rester said we buffered there for a minute. Hopefully the camera isn't overheating. Well, we're just about done anyhow. Becky Forbes says a lot of Wagyu is not true Wagyu. That's right. Usually what you get in the United States is not true Wagyu.
It may not be.
Yeah. I actually read a documentary on that.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in America that foreign companies like buy farms here, and then they can call it something, but it's really not like it is there. Actually, me and Jose had a conversation about that yesterday. I said, whenever I go to a restaurant, let's say it's a Brazilian restaurant, or like when we went to Gloria Estefan's Cuban restaurant, I questioned them. I said, if I was in Cuba and all these things here were available there, which I know they're not because of restrictions, is this how it would be there? Is this the food? Is this the bread? Is this the exact same way? I like to have authentic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, she said, yeah. Then they asked me if I wanted a cup of coffee. So I had authentic Cuban coffee, which I could care less about ever having it again. Oh, my God.
Made the hair stand up on his arm.
Woo. Well, some of these places around here, and Jose agreed. He said, like that empanada he showed you the other day. He said, can you believe it? And it didn't even look. I said, yeah, we Americanize stuff. Yeah. And when we Americanize it, it just, to me, it may be good, but it's just not the authentic thing.
Yeah, well, and after having his and then seeing that, it didn't even look good.
No, it don't look the same at all.
Yeah.
So I do like to know what the authentic, like Italy, Italian food. I know Italians eat more than just spaghetti. But around here, it seems like everything's pasta, pasta this, pasta that. Well, where's the steaks? Where's the roasts? I know they have them over there.
Yeah, yeah. Becky Forbes says, I know if I get true organic meat from a rancher that I know, I have no pain problems.
Is he out?
No, he's in your room. You got the window open in the office?
You little shit.
He's probably chewing up all your cords. Yeah, you know, I don't know if that would make a difference or not, Becky, but I do know that, like I said, once I started quit with the red meat, and especially my leg, where I had the operation on my knee, that's the one that bothers me more than any of them, just that one. So, but like I said, after I quit eating the red meat, then it doesn't bother me as much. So, Laura says, I've never had a martini. Should I have a celebration martini when I go to Las Vegas?
We did with Jerry. We took Jerry and we celebrated at some Japanese restaurant.
Yeah. Well, she's going to Vegas. So should she have a martini when she goes to Vegas?
No, if you're going to celebrate, you got to celebrate here when you buy your home.
No, okay. Well, she's going in 3 weeks.
Well, she can celebrate out there for her retirement, but when she buys a home here, you have to celebrate that here.
Oh, yes. And we will have champagne, Laura.
No, I'm not drinking champagne. I'm having a beer.
Okay, you can have a beer. When I was based in Europe, at what time they would not allow American food products on the shelf due to all the chemicals and preservatives. I think it's still that way, unless the European version is. Yeah,
I know a lot of foreign countries have very strict rules about food and things like that we seem to be real laxed on here. And I don't know all the rules. That's why I don't travel to foreign countries a lot, because I don't know what's in that food. And so Linda's going to go to Japan here soon, fairly soon. I don't know exactly when. She's got family there. And I told her, I said, if you go, I said, if I can afford it, I said, I wouldn't mind going over there, because I said, you could be my tour guide and show me what to eat and what not to eat.
Yeah, and then Laura, when you get out there, have that martini. Or if you can, try the chocolate martini. I really like those. And I'm not a big martini drinker, but I really like that chocolate martini. So, and Becky wants to know if I eat cheese. I do. You know, I probably shouldn't, but I do. I love cheese of any kind. And like I said, me and Buddy had cheese and crackers this morning for breakfast. Hey, Marcia. Haven't seen you for a while.
Marcia.
Yeah. And Laura says, I think I will try the martini before I put all my 401k money in the slot machines. Yeah, I think I would, be careful if you drink first. It has a way of grabbing you. Kevin Maynard says, a country that doesn't make anything isn't worth anything. Bring manufacturing back to the country. Okay.
Well,
you want to work there?
There's always repercussions to everything, no matter what we do. And you can't never satisfy everybody. You just hope you get 55% of them to like it. If we say we're going to cut trade with Mexico, half the population is going to raise hell about it. Even though we make more jobs here, they're still going to raise hell about it. It's just common sense to me. I mean, we should have jobs here. Not everybody goes to college. Not everybody has the brain power to be a doctor or a lawyer. So I was one of them. I've never had the brain power to be anything like that. But so you have to have these other jobs available. I mean, some people's families' traditions is they work in a coal mine. So we can't shut coal mines down. I've been to West Virginia. I've seen some of these old coal mining towns. And today they ain't nothing but a drug pit. Everybody in there is a druggie or an alcoholic. You can say, well, They could go out and get a better job somewhere else. No, they can't. They got no money. They can't just move out. And you say they get a better job. Doing what? Half these people never finished high school. But they had a good job paying good money, and they were paying their taxes. Now, guess what? We're paying for their disability. We're paying for their Medicaid because they ain't got any money.
Okay. Becky says the deer on the east side of Montana is not gamey tasting because they feed on wheat and barley, not brush.
That might be. That could be true. They generally eat, but taste the way they eat, you know. So
Laura says, I've eaten squirrel. My dad went squirrel hunting until he was in his 60s. Yeah.
And the best thing about squirrel hunting that I can remember was Grandma Simmons. She made squirrel gravy and homemade biscuits.
My stepdad made squirrel gravy every year for Thanksgiving.
That was so good. Yeah. What I remember as a kid is that was so good. She used to call me Boy. That was my name, I think, Boy. Hey, Boy. Because I took care of their pony.
I'm going to start doing that. Hey, Boy.
Hey, Boy. That's what. She said, come on up here and have some breakfast. And I knew what that was.
Yeah. Then Erickson says the Japanese also massage their beef. Yes. That's one of the big things about that kind of meat. And R.V. Hampton says, live in Missouri, all cattle here. Neighbor raises Wagyu beef, nothing but pasture raised 365 days. Yeah, and I said, you really have to get into the process of what they consider Wagyu beef. Because I said, the way they do it here and the way they do it in Japan is different. And so you may not be getting actually what a Wagyu beef. So you just don't know.
To me, it all boils down to one thing. If you like it, then it's a good deal.
Yeah. Laura says, watch the Italian food series hosted by Stanley Tucci. You know, I do, and I love Lydia Bastianich. I love watching her cooking show. She's the best cook to me, and it has been for years.
Where's my cell phone? Oh, I got it right here.
God, you could actually lose it in your pocket.
I swear to God, I can lose shit. Not going anywhere, I can lose stuff.
Yeah, that Carmen says most people think Kobe beef is the best in Japan, and it's not. And I think the Kobe beef is what they're thinking of when they're talking about the massaging and everything.
Well, I can't say that because I've never been to Japan.
Yeah. Becky wants to know what kind of beer you like.
Well, around here, there's only one beer to drink, as far as I'm concerned. That's Yingling. It's a lager beer. I like a lager beer to start with. I don't like ale. I don't like wheat beer. I mean, not that I don't like it. I don't prefer it. I used to drink Sam Adams Boston Lager in Indiana all the time. That was my number one beer. And my number two beer, actually, would be Sam Adams Oktoberfest beer. That's a great beer, but they only had it seasonal up there. Mm-hmm. And down here, Sam Adams is not a big deal. It's not that you can't find it, but it's very pricey when you do find it. The Oktoberfest is something that when it does come out, it disappears. They only serve so much of it down here. They only send so much of it down here.
Yeah.
And by the time we get to the liquor store and Sue's looks for it, they're sold out. Mm-hmm. And they're not getting it anymore. It's done.
Laura says Parma, Italy is known for ham. Sicily is known for seafood. Yeah, it's not all about
I thought Sicily was known for mafia.
They're talking food. R.V. Hampton says, lives in Italy and oldest daughter born there. No such thing as rigatoni or baked ziti. Cracks me up. Yeah, that, like I said, they Americanize everything.
Yeah.
And like I said, you like your pizza, you know. The pizza you get here is not going to be the pizza you get
in Italy. Not saying that the Americanizing food that we do here is bad. I'm not saying that at all. I eat a lot of it. I still do eat a lot of it. But sometimes when I go to what do you call it? A traditional restaurant, like say from Italy, this is original Italian food. I like to know, is this the way it was actually made in Italy? Or did we substitute tomato sauce to ketchup?
Yeah, and for instance, we love Olive Garden. And I know Olive Garden is not
Italian food.
I know it's not a representative of real Italian food, but we love it.
Yeah, I do go there. I ain't been there in a while, though.
Yeah. Jerry Bell says Becky Forbes' favorite beer brand is Free. That's true.
That's true. I won't argue with that at all. But I do drink a lot of Yingling here. Yingling used to be a beer that was only in a few states. But over the years, I know it's in Indiana now. Somebody sent me an email here a while back. I forget who it was. It might have been on Discord. That they're introducing Yingling like in Wisconsin or someplace. So it's getting around.
Yeah, it's kind of like what was it used to be that they never had across the Coors Coors, you never
Coors, you couldn't get it east of the Mississippi
Yeah.
River. That's where they came out with the movie.
Yeah.
But Yingling is getting around. I'm not sure what the political process is to do that, but they're getting around. The thing is about here, though, when I first started drinking Yingling, first it was a lager. I like lager beer. Secondly, and this is just ironic probably, if you buy, and it comes in a bottle. Sue knows that I'm pretty picky about my beer. It's got to be in a bottle. I can drink it out of a can, but I really don't prefer it.
Tammy says, thanks for wearing the hat. Skip, Brian's happy.
Okay, so maybe I didn't know. I'm sorry. It was in there, and I probably should have wore it a long time ago. I just happened to grab this hat coming out here. Sue said something about the tag. You all take it off. But I said, sure, I'll do that right now. I'll just left it on there because it irritates her.
Yeah.
You guys said, why do you irritate her like that? Well, I'm going to tell you why. That's what keeps her alive.
Yeah.
If she gets bored, she'll lay there and die. If I piss her off every day, it gets her blood boiling. My grandma said it makes your blood thinner and it circulates better.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Okay. And we're just about done today. And let me tell you a few things we got going on here. And I try to pick out the ones that don't cost anything, but sometimes that's hard to do. But Wildwood Comedy Night is 6:30 p.m. June the 7th at the Warfield Auditorium. That's 98 South Warfield Avenue. It's $15 per person. It's adult comedy, and they have a cash bar and a food truck. Saturday, 6:30 p.m. at Seabreeze Recreation. It's $15 for the Dynamic Dogs Doggy Circus. And you get to meet the furry performers after the show. And that would be worth the $15 to me. Thursday is trivia from noon to 2 at Sawgrass Grove. It's also free. That's on Thursday, tomorrow. Student summer camp performances. Your kids that come for Camp Villages, they get to show off all they learned this summer in camp. The first show is The Wizard of Oz. It's at 2:30 p.m. on June 7th at the Sharon. And the next show is June 14th at 2:30 p.m. The tickets are $15. Lunchtime music social. An hour of music from Diana Arlt and Billy Thatcher is Monday the 9th at Savannah Center. That's $8. And I said, if you never heard those two ladies sing, they're really something you need to see. They're wonderful singers. And they've been doing it for a long time here. Also, Bobby Blackman in concert Friday from 4 to 6 at Booster's Bar and Grill. That's 8003 Landstone Boulevard, and that's free. And Prima is offering free lunch entree with purchase of another lunch entree and 2 beverages. That's from 11 to 3 today. You've got to have the coupon that's in today's paper to be presented at the time you eat. So that's kind of, buy one, get one. Pretty good deal. And I think we're done.
Are we?
Yeah. And I said, thank you to all our moderators.
I see WrestleMania is picking on Jerry already. So thanks to all the great moderators today. You too, Jerry.
Yeah, and Kathy B says she finds Sam Adams at Red Sauce.
Who, what?
Kathy B says she can get Sam Adams at Red Sauce. You don't go to...
That ain't what I said. It used to be my number one beer. I don't buy it here. For one, it's pricey. Very expensive compared to Indiana. One of the cheapest beers here, that's a lager, and it's very good, and that's why I got to start buying, was a Yingling. I could buy a case of Yingling when we first moved here for like $15 a case in a bottle. Nobody could beat that price. And it tasted pretty good. Until this, I don't know what it is now. You buy it. How much is it a case?
I don't know.
About 24.
Yeah,
got 2 cases. 24. They got a 12 bottle case and a 24 case.
Yeah.
But anyway, I still get it. I like it. You can get it everywhere. But I got to tell you, I may be finding me a different place to get ribs. I've had a couple of suggestions, and I may try one of them again because this is the second time that I went to Oakwood Fire and Grill for ribs. And I still say, from what I've had, those are the best ribs around. But they don't sell Yingling. And I find that odd. Everybody here sells Yingling.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
Anna Marie, the recording will be on after we're done. He'll put it on video, and you'll be able to watch the whole show if you haven't been here. So That's something you didn't miss anything.
Well, the thing is, as a present to you guys, every live show, if you come live, there's no commercials here. When I go in there, I'm going to change that. So if you watch the rerun, you're going to get commercials.
Yeah. But she'll be able to see it because
But you'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
If you can suffer through the commercials.
Yeah. And Tammy says she just joined the channel. She said, thanks, Skip&Sue.
Thank you.
Yeah. And, but yeah, thank you to all our moderators, Jerry, Wrestler, Marcia.
But you realize if you're a YouTube member, you don't get... What the
hell? Dropped his Chewy.
Oh, you won't be getting a Discord link. You have to be a Patreon member to get the Discord link, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah. And, okay, Anna Marie says, Wrestler and I was doing nothing at my home, just organizing my tool bag. Well, are you planning on a big project? Brad Chase's famous New York beer were Ballantine and Rheingold.
His oldest son graduated and was moving in somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what he's talking about, or what I always say, that a husband, especially when they're retired like that, he finds a lot of yard work and things to do to get away from the old lady.
Yeah. And Tammy says, I have to bring Yingling back to Wisconsin. They don't sell it there yet. Yeah, there was something in the paper, I think, that they're getting ready to.
No, somebody sent me an email saying that he found it in a store. I thought it was Wisconsin. Maybe it was North Dakota. I don't know.
Racer Girl says, hello, I'm late. I was reinstalling my gutter drain and painting. I had a 150-gallon tank there before collecting rainwater. Wow. Well, that's a good thing, I guess.
Hey, it's after 2 o'clock. We're done.
And it's after 2 o'clock, so we're going to see you later.
Say,
kiss, boo-boo. Say bye-bye. Yeah, say bye-bye.